and we're opening game number 1, Viper against Nikov, and we're opening on and close, the map that we just left off. Nikov is going to play as the Gujaras here, and Viper is going to play as the Aztecs. Now, we know the Aztecs, with their military production, can really take advantage of that gold on the outside, right? And they can just kind of steamroll and take away all those resources from their opponent. What can the Gujaras provide here that would be a potential counter to the Aztecs?
So Gujaras against Aztecs in general is a very tough matchup for Gujaras, I feel, because Gujaras, the Shravamsha Rider is kind of the key unit for them, right? Because they're so extremely fast and they deal a lot of damage as well, also pretty cheap. So on maps like these that are extremely open and really hard to wall, like it's impossible to wall because of the rocky terrain there, that's where they excel. However, with Aztecs, you have you know, the options to go for Eagles, and Eagles are very good against the Shravamsha Rider, and also the Monks are not too shabby as well. So it's going to be very tough for Nikov. He will have to go for Shravamsha, for a Chakram Thrower.
Yeah,
the unique unit there.
It's hard to get into chakrams, and it feels like you're talking about how good the Shravamshas can be, as you're now overlooking the map here with your wonderful green shirt, bouncing your way across the screen, of course, and inside of the woodline as well. You talked about how good they can be, but we saw it in your set. We saw it in your game when you were matching up against Aztecs. Bye, Jordan. That they're not really good once you get past a certain number, right? Like, you can't mass them up into a group of 20.
Yeah.
You're getting effectiveness from the first 6 or 7 that are on the field, and then it's a slow switch into chakrams. You got to get the stone, you got to get the castles down, you got to protect the castles, which can be very, very difficult. And I think Viper can really capitalize on that time window.
Absolutely. And you know, Aztecs in what's going on there? Okay, I needed to test that one, sorry. So where was I? Obviously, Aztecs in the hands of Viper is just very, very scary in general. And, you know, Viper, I felt like yesterday he has gotten a little bit of confidence back compared to the first day. So I expect him to capitalize on Aztecs, the faster military production, and he will put on a lot of pressure for sure. And, you know, for Gujaras, the game plan is here to be passive and try to get to the chakrams. And I'm not sure if, you know, Nikov, I'm kind of distracted by this. It makes me kind
You're distracted by this, dude. I'm not looking at the map. I'm just looking at him.
I know. I see you all the time. And I'm trying to talk to you, but you always look at that face there. I was like, what's going on here? But yeah, it's going to be tough for Nikov to buy himself the time. We see him opening with an archer range.
And archery range will mean that those first... I think he went up, what, 18 population as well? Like an insane uptime, as Nikov is known for. Archer range will mean that Nikov can try and capitalize on something he does really well, which is like those first 2 to 3 archers, similar to Liereyy or Vinchester. He gets them in your economy, and then he just doesn't stop moving with them.
Absolutely.
And Viper opening archer range. He's not too far behind. He should have some units of his own out by the time Nikov comes across. It's just whether he can scout the units coming forward from Nikov.
Yeah, usually Viper is known to have extremely good scouting, and also one thing to mention here on this map, enclose can spawn sometimes rather close between the opponents, but in this case it's exactly the opposite. So if Nikov will rush, it is going to be better for Viper because he will have a little bit more time, and and I getting attacked by a dog
by Eustace behind. He's here to support. He's here to support his dad.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Viper scouted that archer range super quickly, right? He came forward. He was lucky to be on the right side there. He saw the archer range. Now he's going to get a little bit of Viper greed and push in the deer. Here comes the camel scout from Nikov, and of course the units are already making their way across. But Viper, he's not going to try for aggression right away. He knew the uptime from Nikov, and he's going to keep these units home in defense. Nikov still not seeing the range. He saw where the initial barracks was, but he'll see the gold, and he'll know that there's an archer range around here somewhere from Viper.
Absolutely. And, you know, he sees so many villagers in gold. I'm sure he's expecting eagle play here.
Sick fletching timing from Nikov, too.
Absolutely. I mean, the fletching timing is severely lacking behind for Viper's position. And, you know, Nikov has a timing here. It depends heavily on the micro, obviously, but yeah, 2 archers against 2 eagles and 3 skirms. I don't think it's going to work here.
I like the fact that Viper opened skirm and then he used the gold that he had to produce some eagles.
Absolutely.
It's super good. It's like instant recognition of what Nikov is trying to accomplish earlier. and he's already nuking it, and then he can transition into the archers because the skirms have found their purpose. They snipe that early archer, and suddenly the fast uptime from Nikov, it doesn't mean anything.
Exactly. It's kind of neutralized here, and we see the stable play here from Nikov. That's kind of the normal transition. If you see your opponent opening with skirms, then you add the stable yourself to build the scouts here. But Viper already, ahead in that regard. He built 2 skirms first, or 3 skirms, and then he knows, okay, scout switch is the normal thing. Then I will just add my own archers to get more damage output against them.
Yep, Camel Scout very, very weak too, so can't even provide any value against those skirmishers just yet. It will be following that army in though, and Nikov now with enough archers behind to protect himself. There is 3 eagles there, so the scouts can't just commit against those skirmishers for free, but both players just going to kind of play on the defense for the time being, and it looks like we're going to be heading towards a Castle Age engagement just because the bases are so far away.
That's the thing, right? And now the normal transition for Viper is just to get a market down as soon as possible, which he's doing. Question is, will he sell the stone, Dave? I'm not entirely sure because, usually he likes to keep the stone behind and build the TCs upon reaching Castle Age. But with Aztecs, you're always tempted to do so just to get the momentum here with the faster uptime and to get the eagles.
Around.
Yeah, he's doing
Sneaking
that.
around, he's hugging the edges too, and Viper is just kind of on the north there with all of his military. Viper will have a bit of warning with his buildings, the way he set it up for those archers coming in. I wonder if he doesn't have Town Watch yet, so...
Yeah, I don't think he will do so as well, and indeed he is selling the stone. So I like what Nikov is doing. He walled himself kind of as much as he can on the one side. He even built a tower just to get full safety here. But Viper, look at him. Like, he senses something,
yeah,
right?
he hasn't seen the archers in forever.
Yeah.
So he's like, where are they?
Exactly. And now he gets a confirmation with the eagle that the archers are there indeed. And that's such a beautiful scouting information for Viper, and he will not take any damage whatsoever. Pathing of the villager, running a little bit wild, but I don't think he will lose any there. And now the skirms are there as well. And
the scouts might come as a surprise, though. Nikov not showing those scouts really early. I think he showed one of them, right? But Viper didn't know how many he produced, and the scouts looking to jump on that army from Viper, not going to find an engagement that he likes. Nikov's resources behind this looking okay. He goes for wheelbarrow, but Viper is just about to click up to Castle Age.
Yeah, this is very tough now for Nikov. I'm surprised by the fact that he opted to go for the wheelbarrow, because that will delay your Castle Age time a little bit. Of course, you have a little bit of a better economy, for sure. However, the Castle Age timing is crucial. And especially if your opponent has gone really wild, all in with the stone even sold, that can be very, very dicey. And the villager is going to get killed here by Nikov. Nice pick off by him. But I don't think he will find too much more damage here.
Yeah, he's just kind of, at the moment, he's kind of holding Viper into his base. So when if Viper is up, when he hits Castle Age, he's not going to be in an optimal position to do damage right away. So it is benefiting Nikov as wheelbarrow comes in, and he's one villager produced away from clicking up to Castle Age. Timing's going to be about 2.5 minutes later than Viper, but he has plenty of time because there's so much space that Viper needs to cover to get there.
Absolutely. As far as I can tell...
Viper switches over to the other side now.
Yeah, he's sending those eagles to the front because he knows, okay, Nikov wants to buy himself a little bit of time. And to be honest, the eagles are not providing too much value here as well in defense, because in Feudal Age they're kind of weak, and the maximum potential is much better if he's in the front with them. And now the scouts, they're active. Nikov is doing a very good job there, but Viper just feels like he's playing extremely good here so far.
Yep, he's got 11 on gold. He's got 3 barracks ready to produce those eagles, and he's got those 3 eagles coming forward right away. Nikov is up to the Castle Age, and Nikov is only going to be about 1.5 minutes behind Viper, so it's not the worst thing in the world. And Nikov, it's his turn to sense that something is up. He hasn't seen those eagles in a while, has the archers over on that side, and still has a group of archers over on the right. So when Nikov reaches Castle Age, I think it'll be without having lost any of those archers he just sent around to the right side. So good conservation of his units there from the Argentinian. I believe he only lost 1 scout, actually.
It could be, yeah. Camel Scout went down as well, that's for sure. And now we even have the +2 armor and the Eagle upgrades coming in now for Viper. So that means once those upgrades complete, the archers in Feudal Age are only going to deal 1 damage per shot, and that is huge. So the only thing missing for Viper is Squires. I'm pretty sure that's going to come in very soon as well. But no, this is going to be very hard for Nikov to have a stellar defense here. And he's quick walling, he's doing a good job here. Yep. Let's see what else Viper is going to find.
It can only last for so long, right?
Yeah.
Like if Viper keeps sending units in, he's got the tech advantage. Nikov is going to have to delay. I like the fact that he pulled the villagers off gold. He didn't try and wall them in there, and he's bringing them back to his army, even using them maybe as a distraction for those eagles so his archers can get the upgrades. But the range units now coming in from Viper, he's trying to take as many units as he can before the upgrades come in. I think so far pretty good for Nikov, Jordan.
The thing is, Viper has been able to push Nikov away from the gold, and that is the biggest story of it. Also, yeah, Nikov, he rushes down the town center. And, you know, the town center in the middle is not something you really want to go for because it is safe there anyway, and you don't have too much space, right? So the normal consequence is that you will be stockpiling a lot of wood here. Usually you want to see the TCs outside to secure that area. And now Nikov is not in his prime position because of the fact that he is chasing eagles with crossbows, and that's not a good scenario.
I'd love to see a gate or a house there. Nikov's trying to build it through the little thing. He's trying to trap him in, but I guess there was an extra palisade or something there. He couldn't get the house down diagonally, and Viper, good army control here. He's got the eagles over on the left side distracting Nikov. The range units come back. They're not even upgraded yet, and they managed to snipe a villager, and there's still villagers inside of that tower from Nikov. So it's just idle time racking up here. We can see the res collected. Viper is almost 1,000 res ahead. Nikov going for that 2nd and 3rd TC faster than Viper, and it looks like he's gone forward with some Travamsha raids as well. Has managed to survive, will start to pull ahead on Vil count, but Viper just doing the Aztec thing with military production and capitalizing on the early eagles.
Absolutely. And Nikov, you know, he's really struggling right now to find a little bit of breathing time in order for him to set up his economy a little bit. And, you know, he did a good job in the north-hand side. He was able to deny 1 relic temporarily for Viper here with those scouts. But, yeah, there's so much things going on. And as a player, you know, it's hard to, even if you're a fast player, it's hard to keep track of everything. And Viper was able to snipe those units, and that means that Nikov has no presence on the map whatsoever. He's defending, while Viper on the other side, he is growing in terms of economy as well. And yeah, he even had a hole
How
there.
did that eagle sneak in there? I'm like so confused. Maybe around the left side of the wood line or something. Nikov does deal with it, and he deals with that one too. And honestly, I know that Viper has the advantage, and Viper's got a lot of eagles to collapse on those crossbows there. But so far, Nikov only losing 2 villagers is fantastic, but he's about to lose a lot of crossbows here, Jordan.
No
Took his eye off that army for 1 second, and that entire army is dead. Does Viper even lose an eagle here? Looks like he will now that Nikov has regained control over that, but now he's heading back through the eagle army from Viper, and bye-bye crossbows.
I can relate so much to this feeling right now. That's how I felt yesterday as well, where you just feel like you're always 1 or 2 steps behind Viper here, because he's like everywhere, right? And he can kind of anticipate as well where you will react and where you most likely will not pay attention to right now, and that's exactly what he is doing right now against Nikov as well. And he will charge in against the tower, and I don't think the tower is going to remain for too long anymore. Also Forging coming in, and just prime position for Viper here. You
can kind of see what Nikov is doing. He's adapting right now. He's like, I'm never going to be able to catch up on military. My only hope here is to keep making more villagers than he kills, and then I get onto stone and somehow get a defensive castle.
Yeah.
But it's a very slim hope, right? Like,
absolutely.
It's a last-ditch effort because there's just so much military coming forward from Viper, and Viper even adding a 2nd TC behind that. He's in on the farming eco once again, doesn't care about the TC fire. He's read what Nikov's response is, and he's saying it's not going to be enough.
And is there a hold day?
Is that the same hold? No,
okay, he
walled it. Nice.
He walled it. Yeah. So nice reaction by Nikov here, but as you mentioned, like, it's going to be so tough for Nikov to get that castle out. He has 220 stone right now, and 5 only on stone, so it will take some time. And the stockpile of the wood, which I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, that's exactly what we can see right now. And Nikov, the only option he has here is to sell the wood, but man, there are so many villages going down and also
Nikov
so much
doesn't even
idle
have a
time.
market. He's not the kind of guy to have a market early, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's the kind of guy that places it a little bit later, and he doesn't have any mechanism to balance his economy. Like you said, 1,000 wood in the bank for Nikov. He needs food, he needs gold, he doesn't have any access to that, and he taps out, he says GG, and Viper takes another enclosed game, and that was just classic Viper. Classic Viper game sense. He knew exactly where the armies were coming from Nikov. He knew it was going to hit him with that uptime. He went for skirms first. No damage from the fast build. No damage from the armies coming around the other side other than one villager. And then he hits his castle age timing, and the Eagles are already there.
Yeah, absolutely perfect display by Viper. And, you know, when I saw the matchup, I already was like, okay, how is Nikov going to play that one? Because it's so rough. I already knew, okay, ACCM is going to go that way with the Eagles in Castle Age, just trying to defend in Feudal Age with minimal amount as possible. And yeah, it's just the transition into Castle Age which makes it so tough. And we saw some good shenanigans on the sides from both players, but eventually Viper was able to pull through here.
I was really impressed. I think it was a tough Civ matchup, like you said. I was really impressed with Nikov's early ability, his speed, to prevent the damage from being done. But like you said early, even though he's not losing villagers, he's getting kicked off the goal, which means he can't make military units. He can't even, he doesn't even have the option to go into knights, which is something that you kind of need in front of your crossbows if you're dealing with eagles. And you're forced into going for that chakram play, but you need to get the stone first, which is in the middle of where your enemy's army is.
Yeah, and especially being pulled away from gold is a horrible situation against Mesosis in general.
So, looking at the draft, Nikov's got Golden Swamp, he's got Arabia, and we look at the civilizations for Nikov. It feels like he's going to use Burmese on Fortified Clearing. Kind of feels like it will be an Italian or Byzantine play on Golden Swamp. What does he use on Arabia here? Is it Burgundians? Like,
I would say Burgundians is on Fortified Clearing.
Okay.
That's what my assumption is. I guess the Burmese pick is kind of like a backup in case Burgundians were picked, sniped. And wow, we see Nikov playing as Byzantines here on Golden Swamp. That's kind of surprising. I expected Italians here, Dave.
Okay, so Byzantines on Golden Swamp, Viper going for the Vikings, and we know how much Viper likes to control longboats. He is crazy with that unit, and he is probably going to play... Is he going to play into feudal water control and then longboats, or is he going to play the style where maybe you drush early and then go fast castle behind into longboats?
You know, yesterday we had the matchup. Viper and I played that one, and we had exactly like I was Byzantines, he was Vikings, and the way he approached it was very fast Feudal Age and then galleys. And I would not expect anything else from this game as well because it worked out so well yesterday. And I'm surprised as well by Nikov. Like, he knows that Viper picked that yesterday against me, and he still opts for them. So I expect him to, you know, maybe he has
maybe switch it up a bit.
Yeah, maybe he has seen.
What are those fish? What are those fish from Viper? Where are the fish?
They're not existent. He didn't really scout that properly, has he?
No. And it's not like, it's not 100% consistent that you're always going to have fish there. And Viper's going to get that dock up and be like, excuse me?
That is you know, that's kind of a blunder. I will use the word blunder here because usually what you do is you scout in the front, right?
And like, you can see Nikov's side. There's an area he could dock where there's no fish.
Exactly.
Right? But he docked right next to the deep fish, and his dock is going to be incredibly efficient. Viper will probably only make 1 or 2 fishing ships early, so he can go for that second dock to make the galleys, and then the efficiency will be there. But still, you got to be looking. He's looking around with the fishing ship right now.
This is a disaster, and that has a huge impact on the uptime as well, right? Usually he wants to up with 18 villagers, but with the fishing boat having to travel that far, I don't think he's going to be capable of going for the 18 villagers. And you can see on the other side, Nikov with 18 villagers himself, researching.
And that's just a beautiful dock.
Absolutely.
Like, that's amazing, right? The fishing ship doesn't even have to move. It's like a fish trap.
Exactly, yeah. It doesn't have to move at all. And Nikov will be up to Feudal Age faster than Viper. And that's not going to be a good sign for Viper at all, because if you go for the galley play, you want to at least match the uptime.
Viper will find the
fire
one
galleys.
that's at least closer now.
Yeah.
That's a reasonable distance away from the dock. It's obviously, it would be more like your second fish that you would take rather than your first choice. But Viper still up, not too far behind Nikov, and he is going to be playing into the galleys most likely. He's pulled a lot of villagers off food now, as you do, and he's put them onto wood and soon onto gold. And Nikov is doing the same strategy that you went for, right? You scouted the dock from Viper, and then you went for the extremely close forward dock to get your fires as close as possible to his galley production.
Yeah. The good thing for Viper in this case is that Nikov had 10 seconds of idle TC time. So that means that the uptime or the potential attack is not going to come in as fast as it could. And, you know, people might be thinking, yeah, 10 seconds, what's that? But it's actually huge. And that's good for Viper there. But, yeah, forward dock incoming, and we will see a lot of pressure being applied by Nikov with the fire galleys.
Yeah, 10 seconds in 2016 was not that big of a deal. 10 seconds in 2023, I think, is just like game-changing.
Yeah, that just indicates how high the competition or how high the level of Age of Empires 2 is, right?
All right, so Nikov reaches the feudal age, immediately goes for 2 fire galleys. He also hasn't forgotten double bit axe. I think we've seen that a couple times today. And I heard players talking about that. The lack of double bit axe is just how tight the builds are. You got to get that aggression out early, and you can't afford it a lot of the time.
Exactly, and I'm surprised to see that. So I will also look at the idle TC time every once in a while by Nikov because I expect it to rise. But the fact that he managed to pull that one is definitely nice. He has a good stockpile of wood here. He's definitely going to use that. And the fishing boat is getting attacked by the scout, but it's hiding. It is hiding.
He can't reach it. He can't reach it. Viper can't reach that one either. Nikov is sitting on top of the fish, and Viper's got to be like, come on, man. Where was mine? But Nikov is already out with the fire galley. He's looking around for the galleys from Viper. He didn't even go towards the fish.
Interesting.
And he's going to find that second dock.
Yeah, he gets the confirmation here. I mean, Nikov, he will be very annoying with the fire galleys, right? He will be able to
early damage.
That's a lot. That one galley almost went down here.
And Nikov can try and block it with the scout. He can try and block it with the scout. The galley cannot go onto the land to run away from the scout. And, ooh, he can get it between the tree and the shoreline here. What a block from Nikov. Taking out the galley from Viper. The things we see in 2023.
It's amazing, right? Nikov did such a good job here. And that is huge. The fact that one galley went down is kind of a killer for Viper here. And he manages to still, you know, harass the fishing boat a little bit, but he has to be really cautious because that one galley could go down very, very quickly.
He's going to block this one with the other fire galley, maybe. As the galley is coming in and trying to snipe the fishing ships. He already got one, so some value from Viper.
Yeah.
And Nikov can get in front of this one. And there we go. Tries to get the fishing ship, does not. Now he's covering both docks, and he still has one of his fish alive.
Exactly, and gotta keep in mind, 2 galleys went down here for Viper. And if you compare it to the game which I played against him yesterday, he didn't lose any galleys in the process. So that is already a good start for Nikov. Having one fishing boat alive is definitely a nice one, and he kills another one. That's really a disastrous position.
I can tell that Jordan is sitting here. He's like,
what's going on?
Why couldn't I get this yesterday?
That's not what we talked about.
Why couldn't this happen to me?
Exactly. You know, like if he plays against me, there's like 150% Viper, and then... okay, now let's focus here again. So we see the demos being added. That's also a move he did yesterday. And obviously, Vikings don't have access to the fire galleys themselves, right? So that's the only option he can go for.
Yep.
And usually Vikings should be better on the economy, right? With the wheelbarrow, also handcart coming in for free in cast stage. So you expect them to be ahead in terms of economy. But if we take a look there, there's not too much of a difference here in that regard. But I love what Nikov is doing. He's fully surrounding those docks here with the fire galleys.
Oh, that's a terrible position for those galleys, too.
Absolutely.
That's really awful. They're trying to hide behind the wood line, but the fire galleys can go over the wood, and Viper is going to lose even more galleys. The KD right now, 7-2 in favor of Nikov. Viper with some more demo rafts here, but he just doesn't have the galleys to capitalize on the damage he's doing from those demo rafts. It looks like Nikov added an extra fishing ship. He will run away from that for the time being. And Viper, you're talking about Vikings having better economy behind this with wheelbarrow automatically. I think Viper actually took those ibex super early, so the food coming in isn't going to be really quick. Like there's 3 villagers up there, And I think those were the ones that were taking the Ibex. There's none left over. Nikov still has those available to him.
Yeah, this is a very tough position for Viper right now. And I'm not sure if, or let me rephrase it, I'm sure that he has not been in that position. Also not in the practice games, because usually he always managed to make it work with those galleys. And that kind of shows how strong Nikov has been executing in this game with the Byzantines. And, you know, Dave, if you're up against Byzantines on this map, and they have Town Watch, Town Patrol for free as well.
Yeah, it's so hard to hide.
It's scary.
It's so hard
scary.
to hide. It's like one outpost on either side, and suddenly you can't go for a land mix-up at all.
Yeah.
Right? And like you're trying to sneak docks in the center. It's very, very difficult to do so because they have full vision. Viper is about to click up here. Nikov looks like he's going to be the first one there. They both use the market. Critical difference here, though. Nikov sold his stone, and
That's
Viper has kept his stone to boom up behind. Looks like Nikov might actually go for that Ibex and then maybe even consider dropping a mining camp on that stone.
That would be a
That's like
very
the double whammy, right?
Yeah.
You drop off the food at the same time you go to the stone.
I love that
Makes you
idea.
feel good inside.
Yeah, Dave, I didn't think about it, but now that you said it, it makes me feel good.
Okay.
Like, I will try to do it tomorrow.
That's what I aspire
days.
to with everything that I say. you
Yeah.
know?
But, you know, the most beautiful thing for me yesterday was when I saw you talking about Pulse and Tetris. That was nice. Anyway, we see Viper actually going for a very sneaky dock, and Nikov has... Okay, he has a fire galley. He will scout that one.
And Nikov knows that if you have water control on this map, and you suspect your opponent of going fast castle or fast Imperial for that matter, you got to be using those ships to scout.
Absolutely.
And he finds the dock right away, and he notices the dock right away. He doesn't just randomly patrol into that. He's going to see it, relocate all of his fires over there. And you know what is actually kind of a play here, Jordan? Maybe not with a flag on that dock, but in order to keep those longboats from escaping, even sending a villager and walling on the outsides of those docks and keeping the fire galleys in front of them.
You know what I will do in the next tournament? When I'm preparing, I will have a discussion with you, because you're throwing out ideas which I just love. Like
The
that's
face you made
It
it gives
like-
me so much gratification there. You just looked at me, you're like, what?
What the hell? Like, I have never even considered that, and
Yeah.
I've never seen someone doing that as well. Like, this is going to become the meta, I feel like.
Well, until you get demoed when you send your villagers out there.
Maybe that's why we don't see it. But yeah.
Viper, of course, going into the longboats, and the longboats, the reason I said that is because the longboats are very, like, squeaky. They
Yeah.
will always find that one tile to move through.
Yeah.
And then once they're out in the open, they have so much mobility.
Exactly, and they're just so fast. The mobility is heavily in their favor, and they can, you know, run and shoot all the time. Viper on the other side, he managed to get extra TC as well, if I'm not mistaken, right? Not 100% sure. No, he fully commits onto the water play, so he knows exactly. He doesn't want to face the Byzantines play here with the full map control, and that's why he's heavily investing into the water play here. No third dock so far. The villager is going ham on the repair here. We see Botkin already, and now we will see a lot of dancing here with those longbows, and this is going to be very tough for Nikov to hold here, because they're just so... Squeaky is the word, right?
Yeah, squeaky. Squirrely, squeaky, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm teaching you new words this time.
Yeah,
Usually it's you
yeah.
teaching me words.
Yeah.
They're very
I was-
fiercey, Jordan.
Yeah, I was about to say that one. Squeaky, I like the word. Look at how they are squeaking through the fire galleys.
Yep. And Viper manages to lose one. Nikov is right on the case, and Nikov is going to send some fires over, and he's doing a good job with production. Like, he's not letting up, right?
Yeah.
He's not complacent with just 5 or 6 fires. He is going to keep producing fires because he knows that he spent so much effort taking water control. He can't just give it up to Viper. However, Viper is adding another TC behind this, so he's not all in it on the longboats, and it looks like Nikov has added his second TC as well.
Yeah, and I have to say, Nikov is doing an amazing job here as well to hunt those these
Viper
longbows
can't
down.
find any value with
No
his ships.
chance. No chance.
None. He killed one fishing ship.
Yeah, and it's so tough, right? Like, in theory, the longbows should be better, but they are also very... you know, the fire galleys, they just kill them if they get close in terms of the distance, and this is going to be rough now. He kind of has to move on the right-hand side on the top here to find himself some space, and ideally he wants to have around 8 longbows in order to have a good timing against those fire galleys, but he's kind of sniping the fishing boats here, so it feels like he is kind of accepting the fact that he will have some problems to fight for the water, but no, it feels like now he has gotten himself the space to maneuver, and even the
I love the
dodging.
fact that Nikov pulls that villager away.
Absolutely.
It's like, aren't you macroing behind this? Like, how do you know Viper's going to turn around right there?
Yeah.
And you just pull the villager right away, and you still get the monastery up in the center. So fantastic job for Nikov. Also, Nikov, with Town Patrol, like you said, there's going to be no places that these longboats can hide anywhere on this water, so he can just keep tracking that the entire time. The villager now makes its way around, and Nikov's still dodging with that guy.
Absolutely. Nikov is on point, and, you know, I just have to look at the eco technologies.
$214 towards the prize pool.
Wow.
Let's go. We see these come in. We don't mention them enough, but
Yeah,
this is that you can add to the prize pool, folks, if you want to. And I would heavily encourage that if you're enjoying the content here. We've had a crazy day, and all donations are contributed towards NAC for prize pool. Jordan, sorry for interrupting you.
Easy.
Have to recognize it.
You're totally right. I was just a little bit confused. I'm talking about economy, and then the number 214 jumps into my ear here. So I was a little bit confused, but you're absolutely right. Thanks to all the donations here. And yeah, so the economy, heavy plow and bows are already in for Nikov. So that is an indicator.
Oh, if that demo is coming out of that dock, he's got a demo in the...
Oh,
dude, longboats
barely.
stack up so nicely for demos to hit.
Yeah, that was very, very close here. I like the idea Nikov had here, and it was very risky by Viper to go for that move, but he managed to pull away here. And now the situation, I feel like they're playing this, how's that game called in English? Hide and seek, I think?
Hide and seek, yeah.
Hide and seek, right?
And maybe Nikov wants to, you know what the big brain play would be? Nikov, go for another circle and bring him past that dock again, right? And then unleash the demo. But if Viper sees a flag on that dock, he's going to be like, you wouldn't garrison a fire in there. You would definitely have a demo.
Absolutely. Especially Viper, teammate of TaToH, who is pretty known for those demo plays. So that's something which is in his mind. So now thinking a bit longer term. You have something?
We could see.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's focus on
Viper's
that before.
keeping 4 of them in front there. He's keeping 4 of them. He's gonna see the flag. There's no
it's like
he sees danger.
A flag on the dog, especially with longbows. You don't want to take any risks here, and he's even adding more dogs here. So he definitely wants to commit heavily in Castle Age on water just to secure that for sure. Even killing all the dogs of Nikov. So anyway, where I was trying to go here is long term. Byzantines, they have the cheaper Imperial Age, and they have access to the fast fires, and fast fires completely shred the cast age longbows, right? So longboats, I always say longbows.
I do the same thing. I'm a native speaker. I do the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of inviting for that, right? So
no, Viper's going the other side of that one.
Yeah,
he's like giving it a respectable distance.
We kind of want to see it, right? But yeah, it's not going to happen. But anyway, with Vikings, you kind of need the elite upgrade then to fight against those. Oh!
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It was a decent demo.
That
it wasn't
was not
as good
too bad
as it could have been, but Nikov's still going to find a really good fight against these longboats, and a lot of them are weak, Jordan. That's like 6 of them going down there.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what you mentioned earlier with the longbows being extremely, what is the English word? Like they die to demos. Fragile, right?
Fragile.
Yeah.
You could say frail.
Frail, okay.
You could say squishy. I think you would like squishy the best.
Today is my squishy day, so I will go for squishy. We see a beautiful castle being dropped here by Viper, and I love that outpost here in the middle as well, just to get himself the extra vision here. And, you know, looking at Viper's resources, he's definitely flirting with the idea to go Imperial Age, and here we have that. And even though Byzantines have the cheaper Imperial Age, and that's a lot of cheaper as well, he is faster than Nikov here, and that is a beautiful position for Viper to be in. However, Nikov still has dogs in the front, and he's not going to be too far away as well.
I think fast fire upgrade only takes like 50 seconds to get, and
fast.
it's just a one-click upgrade, right? Like Viper has to mass a bunch of longboats
Yep.
As Bison adds another $100. Yes, let's go, dude.
Even I saw that one.
Let's go,
now.
and here comes Nikov. He's not messing around, and oh, that's such a beautiful thing Viper just did. He doesn't have full control over the middle. He knows Nikov wants to come forward for a castle, so he's denying all of the potential castle placements with house foundations. It's not going to last for a super long time, but the longer you can delay that from Nikov, the better, the more it matters, as Ivory's coming in with 100 as well.
Oh, crazy. Like, so many donations are flying in. This is just beautiful. Thanks so much, guys. And yeah, this is just insane, Dave, because of the fact of those houses. Nikov was forced, he felt the pressure, right? He wants to get the castle up as soon as possible, and therefore he was forced to build it so passive instead of
That's not your ideal castle.
No, absolutely
not. Like,
not.
if you write this game plan up and you say we're both going to Imperial Age, here, as we see Wide Jordan making an appearance too, swimming through the Golden Swamp and into the minimap and into your eye sockets at home, courtesy of production. You would never draw that castle up if you're Nikov, especially when you've had water control for most of the time and you have a monastery in the middle and whatnot. You would think your first castle is going on the middle there, and he's a lot of stone away from that secondary castle.
Absolutely. So Viper has been able to buy himself a lot of time. However, if we gauge at the village account, it's definitely better for Nikov here. He doesn't have wheelbarrow, so you know, economy definitely should be kind of equal. And now with the longbows, they're just completely dominating in this situation.
I think Nikov needs to focus on water, but one thing that he needs to do is a singular outpost in the north. Just make sure that Viper doesn't mix it up. He's got all those houses, like you mentioned, in the south, and we can see the Berserks making their way. It's not too threatening when it's just two Berserks, but Viper, if he's feeling comfortable on the water, could potentially go for a land attack, and Nikov needs to keep control over that area, or just vision over that area, as he waits for Imperial Age to come in, waits for Fast Fire, and actually goes for Guard Tower here, with only 189 stone. I guess it's for that one tower in the center?
I mean, a long-term plan is to get more towers up in the middle as the game goes, obviously, but Guard Tower is something which surprises me as well. I personally think it makes more sense to invest that stone into castle placements, but Nikov, in my opinion, at least top 5 if it's about those kind of hybrid maps. And I'm definitely not here to, you know, make a question or question the decision here by him.
Okay, so we've got the War Galley research coming in from Viper, and that is for his demo ships, because he knows that the fires are on the way from Nikov. I wonder if you're Byzantines here, at what point do you think Greek fire adds some value?
I'm not too sure if it will add any value at all. Obviously, it has a little bit of an impact, but he will see now as well with Town Patrol that these demos are going to come in, and I don't think that the fire galleys are going to be able to kill the demos ahead of time.
Oh, that was a good hit. That was a good hit.
But like, I felt like it should have done more damage.
It should have, yeah. For the hype that we gave it, it was definitely. I was very not whelmed. By that demo hitting the longboats.
Crazy. Also, one thing to mention: Vikings don't have access to the bomber cannon. However, Byzantines have that, right? So that's an advantage for them. And the main timing here for Viper is going to be when will he have the resources to go for the elite longbows, because that is a very expensive upgrade. However, if you're capable of getting that one, it's beautiful because it's so strong.
So many demos and so many longboats behind this. Viper's economy behind this, 95 villagers. He's got all his eco upgrades except the farm ones. Nikov actually has really decent eco upgrades except handcart there. And the demos are coming in, and boom, 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 the fast fire is going down. The longboats just shredding them after that initial damage comes in, and Viper continues to trap the other side. Looks like Nikov has some bomber cannons out, so Viper will need to keep tabs on that, and Nikov will need to keep microing that bomber cannon as he repairs the trebuchet behind. Viper trying to keep his trebs alive, and he has done so for the time being.
Absolutely. Against one bomber cannon, you can out-repair that one. Whoa! What was that? Oh, yeah.
There you go. Justice! And justice!
This is so crazy. Like, as a player, you feel the pain, right? It feels like that's one of the worst moments when your bomber cannon is getting doinked by a trebuchet. It's just horrible, right? Because it takes so much time to build another one.
And there's another bomber cannon, dead. It was in that. It was trapped in that siege workshop.
That's just.
Where does Nikov go from here?
Problematic.
Like you just have to spam fires at this point, right?
You feel like you're Byzantines, right? You want to build them because that's where kind of your strength lies. But at this point, going for fast fires is, in my opinion, just a little bit of a waste of resources because of the longbow mass, right? There's just no way you can match that. And also with the demos accompanied with those longbows, it's just a uphill task for him, or uphill battle, yeah. And yeah, you can see also in the army count, we have 7 army units for Nikov, 2 of them being trebuchet, and 40 army units for
that
the
castle
Viper.
from Viper is going to go down.
It looks like that, yeah.
Yeah, the castle from Nikov is staying up maybe for the time being. Viper is desperate to keep this castle up. He's actually trying to get really aggressive and go after those trebuchets, and both castles sink into the swamp at exactly the same moment. How satisfying is that? I think it's a whole lot worse, though, potentially for Nikov, as Viper is still able to whittle down this navy from Nikov, and Nikov doesn't have the stone to replace that castle.
Yeah, and that is a huge problem, right? Nikov, you know, he's desperately trying to get the stone up for another castle, but this is the moment. Elite long boats is going to come in now, and we are just 15 seconds apart from witnessing what they are going to achieve, because they will deal some massacre here.
Bomber cannon and Treb shot, taking out the Treb from Viper. Bomber cannon working away on the next one. Viper doesn't have villagers repairing that just yet, and the Trebs are also firing on it. Couple lucky Treb shots, and the bomber cannon should be enough to take this out. Nikov still not letting Viper's longboats get over to his side, but that might change soon as the longboat, elite longboat is in, and there's no fire ships left, and the bomber cannon goes down. The castle looks like it might be denied here, and the trebuchets are just fresh meat in front of these longboats.
Oh, I think Nikov played against Doubt a bit too often in the qualifiers. It feels like Doubt Castle is about to happen. He's sending a lot of villagers.
He's sending everything.
Everything. He wants that castle to go up. He will be able to do so, but he will lose a lot of momentum in the process as well, losing a lot of units here. But we have to acknowledge his economy. He is with 138 villagers. It's just amazing how he has been able to macro up so heavily while all the fighting. And on the other side, Viper still on 106 villagers. His economy is not that great, and especially I'm not sure if Nikov has shipwright. Does he have shipwright? Have you seen that? Because if
I haven't seen shipwright come in. No,
I don't think so. But if he gets that as well, you know, and all of a sudden the momentum could shift really fast here.
KD pretty convincing in Viper's favor here. Res collected very similar.
Yeah.
That's a great stat to have on screen at all times. And Nikov, using that guard tower technology that he got earlier, is setting up those guard towers in a forward position, protecting his Trebs. Man, he's starting to get this locked down, Jordan, and it looks so convincing for Viper.
Yeah, absolutely. Nikov has been doing such a good job here, and also got to keep in mind, he's fighting with 14 army units against 43. Yet Viper not really capable of pushing it away.
Keep is coming in, and these are Byzantine keeps as the third castle sank into the swamp there for Viper. Longboats working away on the docks, and with every tower that Nikov gets up here, it's going to be harder and harder for those longboats to make his way across. The longboats have been scary, but they've never been able to cross that line. Nikov has just refused to let them near his shoreline. Yeah,
and this kind of game illustrates as well how or why Byzantines are so strong on this map, because of, you know, higher HP on the buildings, bomber cannon, also faster firing ships here. That's just so many bonuses which add to
This is why I wanted
strength.
the outpost up there, Jordan.
Yeah.
This is it doesn't pan out immediately.
Yeah.
It doesn't pan out immediately, but there's a barracks now up there from Viper, and it feels like Viper might be thinking about switching things up, maybe distracting Nikov. This is still an issue, though. Cannon galleons are amazing for dealing with these Trebs, as long as they don't get Treb down, and it looks like he's going to snipe a couple of those. He doesn't have access to bomber cannons, but that's like the next best thing that he can do in this situation. But still, he's off of that gold completely. Viper needs to do something. He needs to find a different angle, because what he's been doing clearly just isn't enough to break Nikov.
Exactly. Viper, as we can see, with the armor upgrade on the cavalry, so he wants to raid with the light cav. You know, with Vikings, not the best unit because they lack the last armor upgrade on them, so the archer fires from TCs, for example, are going to deal a lot of damage. And we see a little bit of transition for Nikov now with the Galleon play incoming as well. And, you know, most important thing for Nikov right now is try to keep the momentum in the middle. But it's definitely hard because Viper finally, after a little bit of time, has found the possibility to squeeze out those bomber or cannon galleons.
Yep.
And now with cannon galleons in the mix, it's going to be very rough, especially with the longbows.
Oh, and especially if you can bait out those bombard cannons, right? And then the elite longboats come in and just one-shot these cannons. Nikov spent so many resources on those, and it seems to be like Viper is just slowly getting his techs in, slowly expanding his control. He gave up the middle for the time being, but eventually he's going to take it back here. I don't know if the Galleon switch is enough from Nikov.
I don't think so as well. And as far as I can tell, still no shipwright as well.
Like
so
Cav coming in too.
Light Cav
And
coming.
they might not kill villagers immediately, but it's just a distraction that Nikov doesn't need.
Exactly, and in Nico's position, he has to react to that, and that's not something which he wants to do, because ideally he spends every single resource to the water. But Dave, that was initially a good engagement for Nikov. He was able to kill a lot of longbows here, and Viper was just distracted for a bit, and that's something you're not really allowed to do with the longbows.
Desperately trying to get a castle somewhere around on the water there. Yeah,
that's a good position.
You cut off that choke point there, and then you can use your cannon galleons on your side, which Nikov can't range, and you can basically kill, even if Nikov goes for a mining camp, you kill everything on the center.
Absolutely, and we saw another $200 donation flying in.
Dude,
that's
I
just
saw $100 before. I saw 40 from Willem. I saw 100 from another. I saw Eric Wald come in. I saw people.
It's crazy.
Everywhere.
It's crazy. We are not able to keep up here with the donations because you guys have been so generous. So thanks a lot for that, guys. And yeah, the bomber, like the cannon galleons, they are positioned so well. And I wonder, are they elite or are they only the standard ones? Okay,
they're elite. Yeah, he took some time to get elite when he had no access to gold either.
And that's incredible. Now with 15 range compared to the 13 range. And do they deal more damage as well against
I think they deal more damage. I think they have more base damage than the regular version.
Okay, you answered correctly. I know the answer, obviously, but I wanted to test you every once in a while.
Jordan, always testing me on me.
I want to test you, just teach you a little bit as well in terms of Age of Empires. If you teach me in English, I have to return the favor.
Nikov has a lot of galleons. He's got 41 galleons. But is that enough to push past double castle from Viper and all the longboats? I don't know. Oh, bomber cannon is getting... Look at that splash damage from the bomber cannon on the stacked up longboats. He is getting a lot of damage with that thing.
That was a lot of damage, and we are now talking about 25 longbows. So, now I'm curious if Viper is considering to switch up to galleons himself, because galleons themselves, they're not trading too bad against the longbows, but Viper is on point here.
Nikov doesn't care, Jordan. He's just coming in. He's coming in.
The problem for Nikov right now is the fact that he doesn't have the siege to back up his movements on the middle with those galleys. So that's a little bit of a problem for him, and we see the light calves coming in now as well to be a little bit of an annoyance for Nikov.
Neither player with any stone. Nikov has spent his stone on a few keeps in his base. It's keeping him safe from those light cav. Viper had to buy stone for his previous castle. He would love another one in that middle area. And Viper is just coming in here with the villagers. He's sending the boys, he's sending the girls, and he's sending the light cav along with the cannon galleons. Viper does not want anyone poaching his stone. He wants another castle somewhere in the center there to lock this water area down. It has been a desperation battle for Nikov to keep Viper away, but it feels like it's only a limited time now.
Exactly, and the thing is also, both have a little bit of gold access in the middle, yes, but as you mentioned, the stone income is not there. And Nikov, currently, 3 villagers on farms. So there's no way whatsoever that he can sustain any halberdier production whatsoever. I don't think even he has the pikeman upgrade. So we're long time away from seeing that unit, and that means the light cav are going to be having a field day.
Look at that stack of longboats, and they're just shredding. And Viper has so much confidence in these longboats, he just comes forward with these bomber cannons. He's like, cannon galleons. He's like, as long as you don't have bomber cannons to kill my longboats, I should be fine here. Now he's just sending them in one at a time, and here come the demos. Big demo shot there, connecting from Viper on Nikov's Galleons. He's still raiding in the back. Eco KD up to 108 now from Viper.
And just look at the overall population here. It is completely plummeting for Nikov. He went from 190 population to 110 within the last 1 minute here.
Yep.
And now another TC has been spotted by Viper, and he will be able to pick off even more villagers here. And all of a sudden, Nikov, from 130 villagers, drops down to 98.
115 pop, Jordan. 115 pop.
He
was pop capped, and he had a moment there where it felt like he could push back, but it was a classic, you know, moment in a Viper game as we get another $107 towards the prize pool. Nikov calls the GG.
What's going on here?
It felt like he had a moment there, but it was classic. We've seen it so many times in Viper games where he's like, I need to stop just throwing units into the meat grinder. I need to get the techs that I need to get to push back, and then once I get those, I will slowly start to expand my control.
Yeah. I have to tell you, Gonswamp, for the most part, we see the standard openings, stocks, and you know, the fight for the water. But for this time, it was so exciting because we have seen so many transitions, so many plays here, and both players just like focusing heavily on the water, while also in the meanwhile getting their economy upgraded as well. And you know, Viper has done a very good job in always keeping Nikov busy fighting for the water there. And it was kind of like a stalemate for a long time. The only difference was that Viper used that time to take the raids on the sides here, and that's not something Nikov was anticipating, and therefore Viper was able to kill many villagers, and therefore he was able to take the game here.
I don't think anyone in that position, I don't think anyone else gets Elite Cannon Galleon.
It's so expensive.
That's what you're telling yourself, right? And it's like, it's not that much of an upgrade.
Yeah.
But it was exactly the upgrade that he needed, and he only made 5. He kept them alive. And Nikov, with those cannon galleons, Viper positioned them so perfectly behind that little island. Nikov couldn't range them across, but he also couldn't mine the gold because the mining camps were dying. His castle was dying. His trebs were dying. His bomber cannons were dying to the cannon galleons. Nothing he could do.
You cannot do anything. Like the 2 castles on the side from Viper also protected everything, and the 5 cannon galleons, they just had a field day. They're beautifully positioned, and you know, both players now obviously very focused on game 3. Nikov has been in that position 2 days ago against Nikov, where he was down 2-0, and he's yet to find a win here in this set. And Dave, Arabia is going to be our next map here.
Arabia, and we finally today saw a win with the Hindustanis. I think there were 0-6 coming into today, which is just like, as someone who, you know, watches the top players all the time, I think of Hindustanis and I think like they're going to win. If it's an open map, they're going to win. Even if it's a closed map, they have a chance. Finally saw it on Hippo Arena, and we see them here from Viper on Arabia, and he's going to be matching up against the Burgundians. And Nikov, I think, really loves the Burgundians, as we see more donations coming in here. He loves those early eco bonus civs, and he's to the point where he has ironed out his problems with getting the early eco upgrades.
That's kind of a you know, thing he was known for, let's say, a couple of years ago, where he tended to research the eco upgrades a little bit later.
I think he played so fast that in his mind, he's like, I can't sacrifice the resources now. I need to add to my momentum, and then he would forget about it. But now he's kind of just like rechecking every so often and saying like, do I have double bit axe?
Exactly.
Do I have wheelbarrow? Do I have these things? And he got them fairly early last game, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him get them really, really early. He already has it here with the Burgundians.
Burgundians, worth to mention, or actually both civilizations have been a little bit nerfed very, very recently. So the Hindustanis, their villager cost is you know, a little bit reduced there, as we can see here. Thank you very much for that display here. I was like, oh no, how long can I keep going before I get that screen up?
I knew you needed the numbers.
So guys, villager cost -5%, as everyone knows. In Dark Age, -10. In Feudal Age, -15. In Castle Age, and -20. Like,
I was just testing you.
Me as a pro player, I have those stats in my head non-stop 24/7. But, you know, it's just easier to have that displayed here, so thank you very much for that.
Jordan's a big numbers, guys. We get another $100 and another $55. Crazy
just
generosity, and like 11 1.5K people here. It's amazing
It's
on
crazy.
a Monday night. On a Monday night.
Yeah,
Or
crazy stuff,
morning,
guys.
afternoon, wherever you are. As
Yeah.
we see now, the Burgundians also being nerfed. Like you said, of course, everyone knows economic upgrades now cost minus 33%.
Instead of the minus 40%, how it was previously.
Big
And
numbers guy over here.
Exactly.
Huge
I mean,
numbers guy.
it's like everyone knows that.
And you can get the eco bonuses an age earlier, of course.
Yeah,
That's why we see double bid axe already in from Nikov. Nikov going up pretty early here, even after getting that double bid axe. And we have feudal age coming in quite quickly here for the Viper. He's going to go 19 population up. Nikov just a little bit further behind him, 20 population up. And I think that's because the eco upgrades cost just a little itsy bitsy percentage more.
You feel the 7% discrepancy there, that's for sure.
Yep.
He's not breaking his laughter. That's good. I was testing you right now. So anyway, you know, I find it interesting because Burgundians usually excel a lot on close maps, and Arabia, it's considered to be a very high active map as well, and usually we see a lot of aggression incoming, a little bit harder to wall, but in this case, Nikov has opted to go for Burgundians here, and he managed to pull off those walls as well, and he's completely safe here. And his uptime is not very much behind Viper here, just 25 seconds. So
Those
beautiful.
walls are amazing.
Absolutely.
Like the way that he's done this, look, it's just like 2 here, 5 here. There's scattered wood lines, and he's making sure he even walls the front of his base so Viper doesn't get in.
Yep.
Nikov doesn't want any shenanigans here from the snake, and it's one tap on every single one of those walls, and Viper's gonna be like, oh damn. There's actually not a way in, as Nikov now gets to the next stage, and here come all of the eco upgrades, but Viper is going for a men-at-arms approach here with the Hindustanis. Not common.
That's not common at all, and I'm really surprised by that. I wonder, Dave, do you know that Nikov saw that? Because how does he, like, the timing was just beautiful, because if those men-at-arms manage to enter the base, that's just completely disastrous. And I'm surprised by the fact that Viper actually finishes the man-at-arm upgrade. Maybe he's like, okay, I want to pressure those berries as much as possible, and with man-at-arms, you have so much more damage output toward those buildings.
You know what? He might be able to punish the greed, because I look right there. It's heavy plow already coming in from Nikov before he goes for any farms. That is an insane amount of greed, and he's even replacing the walls with stone walls here. He's got to hope that that scout doesn't come in and block it, but I think he's one-tapped all of those. And Nikov is going to stone at the back. Is he going to play Costilier?
He will definitely play Costilier, and also it's kind of like he can
pick off this archer maybe too.
He can if he spots it. Yeah, it's very hard. But okay, I think Viper got a glimpse of that. Otherwise, he would not have made the left turn here. And also, his Nikov's forests are pretty vulnerable as well toward towers, right? So in theory, Viper needs 3 towers to completely shut down the wood income for the Viper here. And both scouts are engaging. Nice fight here for Nikov as well with the TC support here. And those men-at-arms are definitely doing some damage here. And Nikov, obviously, defense has been stellar so far. But do you want to invest into that right now? Not really. You want to place down those farms. And yeah, Viper's doing a good job as well, applying the pressure. Yeah,
and Viper's going to have full map control, right? Nikov's going to have no idea what's coming towards him. That's a good archer to pick off, though. Nikov being super active with his scout, and that's a great job from him. The less archers Viper has forward, the less they can sit on the wood lines, harass villagers repairing behind. You might actually find another one, too.
Fletching is in now, though.
Okay, so that archer should win the 1v1.
Yeah, suppose the archer will win that fight here. And, you know, Viper, where he feels like one of the most comfortable situations is when he has full map control and his opponent plays defensively.
And even if he's behind a little bit in the timing to the next stage, he's fine with that.
He's fine with that because he has all the time he needs to react properly to ward what his opponent is throwing at him. And now he spots the stone walls here, so he knows he's not going to find anything there. But that's just a typical Viper move. Place one archer here behind the wood line, and it will idle the entire wood line here.
Yeah,
that's
and
just
I think,
beautiful.
I think Nikov, to an extent, is telegraphing exactly what he's going into to Viper, because he had the tower over there. It's at 75%. Viper sees that. There's another tower, and there's stone walls. He knows Nikov's on stone. He knows Nikov has played very defensive. He's going into Costilier.
Absolutely. And we gotta keep in mind, Costilier is a very interesting unit for sure, and it's extremely, extremely strong. However, with Hindustanis, you kind of have a perfect civilization to counter those cavalry units. And I'm pretty sure that's also something Viper has in his mind. And Nikov, beautiful, beautiful move. If he doesn't drop those stone walls in time, he is going to be so vulnerable. But now it's going to be very hard for Viper to deal any damage. However, he will be able to...
another wood line.
Exactly. And
if he hangs out there, he's not hanging out there. I don't think he saw the lumber camp. I don't think he saw the lumber camp. No.
But he has to assume it's there, right?
But he doesn't know that there's not another wood line in the back of Nikov's space. He doesn't see that whole corner. The thing about what Nikov's doing here, I think he's approaching it very well. If you're going to go for the greed, you have to commit to the greed, Jordan. Like, you have to make stone walls. You have to go for that heavy plow approach. You have to do all those things to the max, and you can't just kind of try to make your way up to Castle Age a little bit quicker. You have to fully commit to the defensive play.
Yeah, for sure. We even see Nikov with the market play, and that's, as we mentioned earlier, not really typical.
Not super common with him. He wants the market to be nerfed to the ground if you talk to him.
Exactly. He's like the biggest supporter of that, and we actually see him now with the utilization of the market that he manages to go up with to Castle Age, and now he is forced to plant down tower though, because you know that's kind of the only wood access he has right now, and Viper gets a glimpse of that as well. So he knows that, you know, even more of a confirmation that stone is being gathered by Nikov, and therefore Viper will have the time to counter or to think about what he wants to do in order to counter that. And Viper up to Castle Age now himself as well. A little bit behind in that regard, but only 45 seconds if my math calculation is... Yeah, okay, 1 minute. Let's go for 1 minute, that's easier to say. But he has a very, very strong economy as well. And we will go into an equal mid-game here.
Equal mid-game. Castilier are very powerful though. What's your approach if you're Viper? And Nikov is now... How active has he been with that scout? We saw him kill an archer earlier. I want to see what the vision is for him. It's actually pretty good. He's just trying to figure out what Viper is going for here. What would you go for? Would you play into camels? Would you wall up and boom and maybe get some monks on the field? Like, what's your strategy?
So both players will fight for the relics, right? Because relics in general are a good thing to have, especially if you're Burgundians, because not only do they generate the gold, is it called tickle or trickle? I always mix that one up.
We'll call it tickle.
Tickle, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's trickle. Dave, I know you. I know you.
I know you. You're evolving because I can always get you with those. I always get you with those.
No. I have stepped up.
Oh, now I'm going to have to big brain it. Now I'm going to have to really big brain it.
Like Nili asked me a week ago, hey, Jordan, are you up for casting? I was like, okay, most likely I will cast with Dave. I will need at least like 1 day of preparation to cast with Dave, and here we are. But yeah, to answer your question, both players obviously want to fight for relics because the tickle is coming in for Nikov, not only for gold but also for food. And therefore, Costalier monks for Nikov and camel monks for Viper.
Yep, and that charge damage on the Castilier can be very, very deadly, even against camels. Like, equal numbers, if you still have the charge, you engage against those camels, you're going to win that fight.
Absolutely. Charge in, then retreat, heal up, and then charge in again. And it's just very tough to fight against those. And Nikov, not really surprising, adding a second TC as well. And, you know, it's very exciting for me because the way it shapes out right now is it is very likely that both players will hit Imperial Age with a very, very strong economy. And then we have both civilizations, they kind of excel in Imperial Age as well with the gunpowder units for both players. And yeah,
look at them both just going immediately to that relic.
Yeah,
like just like we know where the priority is, and the men-at-arms actually he kind of, you know, tanked that charge damage, and now the camels can just engage.
It's amazing.
Maybe the strategy with him, like against Castilier, is make trash units so they tank it, and then you send in your valuable ones.
I guess that's why Viper went for the men-at-arm opening, just because he wanted to have those three men-at-arms.
Bro, it's not that deep.
I thought we were at the stage where we were going that direction, but okay. Never mind, never mind.
And look at Viper. He goes right past that relic in the middle. He's like, I have to deny relics. It's not so much the gold income I want. I don't want the tickle myself. I want to deny the tickle from my opponent.
I'm confused now. Oh, it's going to be tricky.
Very active with that scout, though, is Nikov. And I believe that's the same starting scout, right? Yeah, he's got 3 kills, and he actually healed him up and sent him back in.
Beautiful, right? And so far, no need to play. Oh, those conversions could happen. Oh, okay, yeah. Didn't happen. It would have been huge.
Scout is coming back.
If those would have happened.
Yep.
And now I love the move. Viper goes for a light cav upgrade, incoming as well. And, oh boy, Nikov about to get the first relic into his hometown here.
Yeah, Nikov even selling stone, getting a little bit more gold here. He needs more monks on the field. That scout finally going down. He got so much value out of that. And it's just a full escort party for this monk coming back, right? Nikov's like, just let me get at least 2 of these, and I will be happy.
Absolutely. I would be scared charging into that one because there are some big boys in there. And Viper, obviously, acknowledging the fact that there is no way whatsoever that he can compete for that relic, and therefore he shifts his focus to the right-hand side. And on left-hand side, he has positioned those units as well to secure those relics. So he will have the vision, and the light cav in the front also gets the information that the next focus of Nikov is going to be the right-hand side relic, and
Look,
Viper has
like,
a monk there as well,
dude,
right?
Nikov is just like drag select everything, send it towards the relic, and Viper is there with quite a few units. Nikov sees that disappear. He knows there's something around there. He sees the monk. He's going to be able to charge in and snipe this. Camels come in, but he doesn't lose a single unit. But the light cav are there from Viper. Great positioning. Will the charge attacks be enough from the Castilier? He saves one of his, or he only manages to snipe one of his monks. Saves the remaining 3.
Did you see that the light cav was hitting twice and then a third time, but it actually only dealt damage for twice? I was surprised by that. But okay, monk goes down anyway, and Nikov able to secure the second relic. However, Viper, 1 relic in his monastery already. Second one should be very safe as well. He just picked it up. The question is now, who is going to be able to gather the third relic? It's much closer to Nikov.
Can he even see it? Can Nikov even see it? He can't. He can't even see it. And Viper is already around there, so Nikov probably shouldn't get that relic. He probably expects it to be somewhere over on that side, process of elimination, right? But Viper should be able to have 3 relics to Nikov's potentially 2. Does Nikov have 1 coming in, or is it Viper?
Yeah, no. Yeah, both players have 1 coming in, so... Whoa! No, okay, never mind. I thought he used the monk with the relic, jumping into the castle and then back to the monastery, so he saved some time. That would have been... Like, I'm exploding right now. It's like, you know...
Pro pathing right there. It saves 62 frames. 62 frames, yep.
My game today against Vinchester, that move, you know, is like...
That was a sick move.
Can be important.
It was a sick move. You saved half a tile and you got there in time.
Yeah.
It was pretty hype. I don't know if you heard me yelling in there. And look at this. Nikov's like, is it here somewhere? Viper now goes around the wood line, and he's going to be able to sneak his way back towards that monastery. So the tickle is real for Viper.
I will try to.
It's truly a tickle down economy over there.
Stop
to the north.
I'm so confused right now in my head. The tickle or trickle. Can someone help me out here?
Look at the monk wave coming forward from Viper, and it's a 5th TC from him. It's a 5th TC, so Viper's like, I know your economy is going to be absolutely insane. Even though you open with a castle, you got the eco upgrades early, right? Your Imperial Age time is probably going to be nuts. So I'm going to try and control the middle of the map and delay you as long as possible.
Yeah, but the fact that Nikov
is up to Imp is crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely crazy. And I don't think if Viper really will expect such a fast uptime, because we're talking about 80 villagers right now, and it's not like 100 where you could expect such a fast timing. But yeah, you know, in regard of strategic discussion here, I love the fact that Viper actually commits more into Castle Age due to the fact that Nikov has his main stone in the front, and he knows exactly if he's capable of stopping a forward castle onto the stone here by Nikov, it's going to be a beautiful position for Viper.
It's only 4 TCs for Viper. The one setup, it looks like a 5th TC. The screen is quite far away from me. Yeah, vodka goes right where I thought it was. Right where I thought it was. It's only 4 TCs.
I believed you that it was 5.
I know.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's like
I was
4 or
testing
5.
you.
It's you were testing me. Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, he still has the villager lead, right? And Viper is just going in against this army, staying right outside the range there, trying to get the conversions as Nikov actually gets the conversions and hops inside with his Burgundian camels now.
I mean, Nikov doesn't have fletching. So in theory, if those camels had +2 armor on them, he could have thought about jumping in there, but obviously right now it's not really a thing. And now Imperial Age time should be coming in as soon as possible for Viper. He will be roughly 3 minutes behind there, so you know, remaining the middle ground is going to be very tough for him. However, he has the army advantage and therefore the map control. So he's going to be able to buy himself a lot of time. And the question now for me is, upon reaching
Viper cancels
will he
this
cancel
castle.
that one? I
Yeah,
think
no,
so,
he
right?
replaces this castle somewhere.
He
else.
has to.
That's just not like 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
There we go. Viper builds.
Well, that's not what we expected.
I didn't say where. I just said that he would place it somewhere else.
That's true. You had that in mind right away, right?
It is a hill. It is indeed a hill.
But Dave, also gotta keep in mind, it's not the biggest hill in that area. The right-hand side would have been a little bit bigger.
Yep, that is indeed the dominant hill over there to the right, but the gold is beside this, or behind this one, rather. And Viper is on the way to Imperial Age, and maybe he's counting on the fact that Nikov won't actually see that castle placement because it's really out of the way. And he can Nikov's going to try and funnel down the middle.
Yeah.
So Viper can maybe take advantage of Nikov trying to go out to that gold a little bit later.
For sure, yeah. And the thing is also, Dave.
That could be a big raid,
that
but
is
it is
huge.
also Viper, and Viper doesn't notice in time. And the charge attacks will kill the villagers so quickly. Viper losing vills here is going to be forced to send army back because it is wide open. The plains of the Hindustani economy at the back here. If Nikov chooses to come in, what were they?
They were bugging. Like
they were very confused individuals.
What the hell? I mean, one got converted, obviously, right? But it felt like everyone was going crazy right now. Oh, no, I don't want to be converted, please, no. So yeah, was a little bit of a bug there, but okay, doesn't have too much of an impact, and the camels have a nice catch here onto those Costaliers, and so much damage is being dealt here by Viper. What a meat grinder!
These things bugged out on the farms trying to find a villager to kill, and then the pathing through those camels was absolutely horrendous. Nikov's going to be pretty pissed off with that one, as Likehav, even in the back sniping a villager. He does have Halberdier, though.
Meat grinder.
Viper needs to be careful not to run into his own terrible fights.
Wow, yeah. And, you know, the imp timing is so much delayed for Viper. However, with the cast in the middle, he's going to buy himself so much time here. And the only thing Viper needs right now is a hand cannoneer. He needs to get himself a lot of hand cannoneers. And the question is he going to have the time? I think so, due to the caster placement here.
Yep.
He needs like 15 villages forward, I would say, to repair the castle.
He's gonna have redemption too if he manages to keep these monks alive, or if he even converts those Castiliae to snipe the bomber cannons.
Yeah.
He'll jump inside the castle with 2 of the monks. He gets the 3rd one inside even, Jordan. He managed to save the holy man's life, and he's going to pop out on the other side. Redemption is complete, and he'll try and convert those bomber cannons. So no threat to that castle if he gets them, but it looks like Nikov's managed to protect them.
Absolutely, and this is going to be so dicey now for both players,
Viper
right?
hopping in and out. He might get all 3. He might get all 3
What?
here, Jordan. He might get all 3. He gets 1. And the monks decide that they're not insured.
Oh! I actually thought he would at least get 2. I'm surprised by that. Okay.
What happened with them?
What happened? And okay, we actually see the skirm play from Viper. Very interesting move. Let's see. I mean, I understand it because his chemistry timing is a little bit delayed, and he wants to get units out on the field as soon as possible. But Dave, glimpse at the population. Almost 200 for Nikov. 160 from the Viper. He needs to buy himself a little bit more time.
4 bombard cannons, 1 Treb, and the final infantry armor upgrade coming in from Nikov with 138 villagers. Now that final infantry armor upgrade could very well be for the Halberdiers, but it could very well be for something else if Nikov has that in mind.
Exactly.
The Flemish Revolution, potentially. Usually you want siege behind it. He's working on his 5th bombard cannon.
Absolutely. I mean, he has 4 right now already, and that is amazing. And, you know, Nikov is also known to be a person that invests a little bit more into villages. Sometimes you see him having 150 villages even in late game, and therefore the button which we refer to is coming in handy even more. We see on the other side, Viper tacking into the last armor upgrade for the ranged units.
Yep, send a few units over there, the hand cannons, and deal with that. And Nikov has control over this massive hill in front of Viper's base now. Viper is at 163 pop. Nikov is indeed pop capped. He's got 3 more bomber cannons in the queue. Viper's trying to convert from behind? I'm trying to look where the... Yeah, what are those things doing there? And he does get one. Manages to dome a hand cannoneer on the way out, and he's going to save the monks again in the... Never mind. He's going to save 1 monk again in that castle.
Interesting display. Now, having that hill in the middle is just so huge. Obviously, the halberdiers, Nikov has a lot of them, but they are not adding too much to the entire battle, right? So it's more about the... hand cannoneers and the bomber cannons, but it just feels like the momentum of Nikov is there, and he's just pushing, even thinking about adding cavalry as well, because he's going for the cavalry upgrade there. Paladin upgrade is very cheap for Burgundians.
You know what? Paladin could be really viable here. The upgrade is cheap, like you said. Yep. They aren't fully upgraded. They're missing bloodlines, of course, but he does have that extra gold from Viper. And usually the issue in a 1v1 with Paladin is the gold cost, but I also see Squires, I also see Arson coming in here from Nikov, and that is making me curious.
Absolutely.
Are we going to see the button pressed, or is that just for the Halberdiers? He is banking up res right now. That might be for Paladin, might be for something else.
I know exactly what you have in mind right now. However, we see only, in quotes, 138 villagers. So that is kind of an indicator that maybe we don't see it, but it's always an option, and it's good to have that one. The cast on the right-hand side is being sieged right now. On the left-hand side, Nikov is expanding his economy as well, and the entire focus is going to be in the middle right now, where
and it will be Paladin. It will just be Paladin. It's not going to be Flemrev. It's going to be Paladin. He's still controlling that middle hill. He's still got bombard cannons here, 5 of them on the map. It's Viper. Did get the unique tech for his hand cannons, so he does have +2 range on them. Very strong composition, but it feels like he just can't survive. He finally loses that castle. It's funny that that is the last castle to go down, the forward one. I guess Nikov didn't see it until too late, like we suspected. And Viper is now taking in the heavy camel to counter the Paladin from Nikov, but Nikov already has hand cannons out. He's already got fully upgraded halbs almost. It seems like there's no way back from Viper. If you were to ask me which map Nikov was going to beat Viper on, I wouldn't suspect Arabia, but it's looking really good right now.
Absolutely. And, you know, the display of Nikov so far in this game has been fabulous. Absolutely no single mistake was done here. And the way he's also taking advantage of the map is just insane.
Good denial there from Viper.
Yeah, very. But also, like, Nikov is just expanding. Paladin upgrade almost done here. And, you know, Viper senses that. He is switching to the camels. And he is heavily pop-capped on 165. So he's not going to be able to produce any army for a long
honestly,
time.
I think he's losing even more houses on the front to the siege. I think he's just losing houses constantly to these bombard cannons and these hand cannons behind. His tickle is gone. The tickle is officially gone. The 3 relics are available at the front there. Nikov even finding these lumberjacks over to the right side. Nikov has had such good awareness this game.
Absolutely.
And ever since he hit Imperial Age and got that castle up on the hill from Viper, just felt like there's nothing that Viper can do.
Absolutely. And usually, you know, when you see that the tickle is gone, like, it's kind of checkmate. You cannot come back from that anymore, right? It's all about the tickle there, right? And I gotta say, Viper's hanging in there. He's, in my opinion, the best Imperial Age player we have in this game, right? So obviously that's where his strengths are the most reflected here, and he obviously doesn't want to surrender right now, but it just feels like Nikov, with his pure pressure, is just too overwhelming right now.
Yeah, at least the food price is good. And Viper is still selling for like 85 gold for the first, so Viper will get a little bit more gold. The hand cannon's actually not bad at sniping bomber cannons with the extra range, and you can see Viper using that to full effect. Stress farms from Viper, though. Hardcore stress farms from Viper. That's when you know things are getting a little bit bad, when he's 7 tiles away from the TC.
Absolutely. And he's trying to get a Relic in while everything is fighting with each other.
One step at a time.
that was really brave by him for sure. He almost managed to pull it ahead here, and we see another engagement here. Yes, Viper has the extra range. However, bomber cannons not there yet, and a lot of shots coming onto those hand cannoneers as well. This is looking so good for Nikov. And if you look at the population, almost 200 for Nikov. 148 for Viper, but he gets a very crucial castle up.
I'm surprised that castle even fits in there.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Viper found a hill, and he found a nook on said hill, and he put the castle up, and he's got the gold access again. Viper is still at 152 pop. How?
Yep. But it's just like Nikov. It feels like, you know, what needs to happen right now for Nikov to throw this game, and I cannot really think about anything, right? Like, he even has access to the button as well, and Viper right now with 16 hand cannoneers. It is something. And, you know, if he's able to get a bit more hand cannoneer mass and, you know, bomber cannons onto the field as well, maybe there's a little bit of hope, but it just feels like he's not capable of doing that.
How many kills do those bomber cannons have? That's what I want to know. Oh boy, 23 kills, and they just lost one of their brethren, so I'm assuming they had even more as Nikov is raiding big time with the Paladin. Still only 67 villager kills somehow this game. I would have expected around like 100 with the amount that Viper has been falling back here. But Viper finally taps out. Nikov, he made the decision to go full wall, towers, stone wall into Castilier. Viper knew exactly what was happening. He got the Relic advantage, but there was nothing he could do about that crazy fast imp time into Halberdier from Nikov. So really, really good approach for the Argentinian. He takes the game 2-1 Viper.
I loved it. I loved it because in my head, should never work. Because
how do you even hit that timing?
Exactly, and the opening is so tough for Burgundians because you're investing so much resources into getting the eco upgrades, and that means it takes some time for them to pay back as well, right? And the fact that Nikov has been able to secure his base so nicely and getting the best out of his early investment was just beautiful to see. It reminds me of the game I had against Balls on Arabia as well in the decider of the qualifiers too, where he also was Burgundians, I was Franks, and he had an open map, and he also managed to pull through as well with the Costalier play in Castle Age and getting the relics. It was just beautiful to see those two, you know, making it happen there. And yeah, now Viper, obviously, just one more question I have, Dave. Hindustanis, 7 losses,
1 and 7.
1 win.
1 and 7.
Is it maybe one of the worst civs we have in the game right now?
I think they're not one of the worst civs. I think they're just being maybe overestimated a little bit, potentially.
Could be.
Yeah, and maybe people, you know what, it might be one of those situations where people have played up against them so many times that they get a good feel for it, right? Doesn't mean the civ is bad, it just means the comfort level for people playing up against Hindustanis is very high because they know exactly all of the options.
Yeah, that's the thing. And we saw Nikov taking full advantage of that one, and yeah, it's just the way it is right now. Nikov taking a little bit of a break. Obviously, that game has been going on for quite some time previously.
Total prize pool almost up to 55K now. I think we started this series, it was like 53 something.
It's insane, right?
I know. So many donations, especially during that Golden Swamp game.
Yeah. Like, we were not able to talk anymore about the games because there were so many donations flying in there. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for all the contribution here. Means a lot there. And yeah, Viper, he is looking very focused right now. Very, very focused. And Dave, there is, you know, I've been thinking this about this for quite some time. And finally, we're casting together, and I'm able to ask you that really important question. If you think about it long term, what do we think about the preferred LeetDesk height for both players?
I think Viper is, you know, selling himself a little bit short there. I think he could be a 78.5 player. Yeah, but he is underestimating himself, maybe underestimating himself. Just a little bit. Yeah. I think he can go up that next, you know, 0.2 to get up there and be on the same level as Nikov. Yeah,
absolutely. I will have a talk to him with him, and maybe then for tomorrow he will breach the 79. But you know, I don't want to promise too much.
What height do you play at? Are you a 78.5er as well, or are you?
The thing is, I started with 78. Then I lost first day, then it was 77.5. Then I lost second day, then it was 75.
Yeah.
It goes down and down.
But it's not standard increments, though. You went down by 0.5, and then you went down by like 1.5 after that.
Depends on my mood, right? Like, if you get slapped 6-0 after
you want to slump a little bit. Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to be seen anymore, right? That's kind of the mindset. But yeah, obviously Viper, he is pretty famous, I heard, known for Castle on the Hill. Like, you know, we talked about it previously. Castle on the Hill, quick walls, he does them every once in a while, right? I would say, yeah, it's a trademark for him. Can be, sometimes, right?
Yep. Oh boy. Nikov's got to be feeling the pressure here. I mean, he could have easily won game 2.
Absolutely.
And then he just won game 3. He could be in a position where he's up 2-1 against Viper. Like, Nikov is playing at his highest level probably ever.
I agree.
If we look at it, and he's here with the 9 other of the 10 best players in the world.
Yep.
He's got to take, well, he's got to have a good game here. He doesn't have to take the win because it is Viper, and even if he loses the Viper, he's probably going to have a good Buchholz score.
For sure.
Just like you.
Yep.
Right? Viper wants to get a good score for you once he gets those wins in there.
I told him, Viper, I'm casting the set. Like, the pressure's on. Like, I will see everything. No, but obviously.
He just needs a good performance. Regardless, like, win or lose, he just needs a good performance here, and he needs to keep up the consistency that he's shown so far in the tournament. Almost taking back, almost having a reverse sweep against Mr. Yo. Then, of course, the result yesterday against, I think he played ACCM, right?
3-0.
And then 2 convincing games. Lost one of them, but did take that one against Viper here. So and we are probably going to go, what do you think, fortified clearing or African reed beds?
I think we will see African reed beds. It's something we have not seen so far in the main stage so far in NAC. So I'm expecting that one. And also to add to the point here, Nikov, you know, like in the past, just quick information, in the past he was kind of known for being extremely good in certain days, and then like the consistency was not really there, but it feels like he's completely consistent now. He fixed that issue.
I just heard the whole viewing area groan because that Rhino is 1 tile away from the DC, and it wouldn't follow the villagers in.
Whoa.
So
that
it's
is
not the greatest.
Yeah.
Paradox, thank you for the 50 as well, and well done on Nations Cup. If you guys aren't aware of Nations Cup, I don't want to plug another tournament, but it's going on right now, and it's pretty amazing. So far. So Paradox, one of the admins there. Anyway, we're back here. It's 1 tile away from the TC. Not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, Dave is not capable of chilling here. Like, he's always leaning forward. Who has donated now? Like, I see him going back and forth all the time, guys. Keep him going.
Are they following my channel?
Yeah, hello. This is a good workout for you.
Yeah, I know. I'm sweating. I need some. We got these patches to remove oil off my forehead. I'm just going to stick these all over my forehead, dude.
No,
it's getting hot. Oh, it's getting hot in here. Oh, it's getting hot. It's getting hot.
I'm sure we're going to be able to display that very soon as well. Now, finally, we will see your face, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, talking about the map here.
Oh, no. There it is.
Talking about the map here, African reed beds, and that map is super special, right? Because in the middle we have, okay, let's go with the front here, or in the northern side we have, in the corners we have 3 fish here for both players.
Yeah.
As you can see here, so players have to decide if they go for a dock or not. And in the middle we see shorefish spread around, a lot of stone as well, and the deer. So, you know, as a player, it's super tough to make the right decisions. Where do you focus? Do you go for dock for the food income? Do you go for a mill for the shorefish, which is the fastest source of food
One
as well?
of the agreements we made in the meetings leading up to this, we talked about this map in the qualifiers, and we said it's too easy to go for that fish at the back, so they move the TCs further towards the middle, and that kind of changes the meta a little bit that we saw in the qualifiers. A lot of the meta, I think you attempted to go for a full Korean stone wall into war wagons at one time, booming up at the back with fish traps. Viper is prioritizing the center here. He's gone for Dravidians. He's going to get more carry capacity on his fishermen, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
In the center there, he gets 200 wood upon reaching. I mean, we can just look this up. If for the people at home who don't know, you get 200 wood when advancing to the next stage. Fishermen and fishing ships carry, of course, plus 15 food. And your barracks technologies cost minus 50%. So if you're going for the early aggression with the men-at-arms, really, really helps, and you can make that archer transition super quick with that 200 wood.
Absolutely. Just quick information, the 2 hits from that village by Nikov is just so huge, right? Because the scout is not going to be able to fight against the scout of Nikov anymore. Anyway, so that is it for Dravidians, and they have a lot of potential for this map because, you know, having the 200 wood extra early feudal age is such a huge thing because in all of a sudden your timing is becoming so much more dangerous for your opponent. And the Italians on the other side, they have, you know, cheaper fishing boat, they advance to the next ages as well, a little bit cheaper, so that's very handy. So they can also try to find a good timing here. But we can see the Viper is going to be the one who's faster up to feudal age. And what I love about this map is we see both players with a completely different approach here. And now Nikov, he sees those militia. Obviously, man-at-arms is something he's going to expect. Nice quick walls here by Nikov, denying any potential damage for Viper completely. But the wood line in the front is very, very vulnerable.
And even going for the men-at-arms approach, it's just instant archer range from Viper. And he's got plenty. He's still got 175 wood in the bank, so he could even go for the blacksmith right away or some additional archers, especially with that early food income from the fish in the center, right? But the food income is also there from Nikov. And what has Nikov done at the back here? He's walled off the fish. I heard people talking about this. I heard players talking about this. It's like, oh, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to wall off the fish. It's too big of an investment. Nikov disagrees.
Definitely disagrees there. And that's also, it makes sense with Italians as well, right? Because one of the biggest strengths of Italians is the half price of the tech upgrades on their dock. So getting into Castle Age with gill nets is a huge thing because it produces... Oh yeah, here we have it. Yeah, the
33% less cheaper technologies and university as well. Essentially,
I said 33,
it's a poor man's half price, that's for sure. And we also have fishing ships being 15% cheaper if you're a numbers person at home.
And that is kind of the main idea for Nikov here with Italians. However, Viper, I love that move. He spots the tower, or he spots the front wood line, and therefore he wants to apply as much pressure onto the wood line as possible.
But look at the value Nikov's already getting from this, from walling that off. He doesn't have to invest into a fire galley. The scout from Viper very deliberately sent that scout up there to pick off the fishing ships while Nikov was busy. Now Nikov doesn't have to worry about that at all.
Apparently, Dravidians is being played the very first time on this map, even including the qualifiers. And that's something which is very interesting to see as well. So far, Nikov has done a fabulous job defending. The tower is going to be very annoying. It will force Nikov to move the wood line, and therefore Viper will have a little bit more potential to, capitalize on the timing attack here.
And that's just a super smart tower from Viper because it's not within range. It's still going to be annoying. I'd love to see him wall it in if possible. It's not the biggest steal in the world because Nikov's unlikely to rush out there with villagers, but it's a pretty small investment still. I've said that thousands of times in my casting career. I'd love to see a player wall in a tower and then the tower never gets taken down. So it goes both ways, right?
Look at the resources collected, however. Hallelujah.
And that's the fish right there.
Hallelujah. Crazy, crazy performance
It will,
by Nikov so far.
will start to catch up, though, because Nikov is going to be running out of the dolphins at the back there. He's actually on his last dolphin. Only 80 food left on that. And look at all the fish that Viper still has access to in the center, and there's Hunt there. The fish are at the back there. I don't know if Viper is going to dock that. Vodka is like on top of this, dude. He comes out here right at the moment Viper sends a villager.
Absolutely. The men-at-arms are trying to force their way through here, but Nikov obviously too good of a player to let anything happen here. And, Viper is not going to be too happy with the situation he's in right now because that's definitely not the damage he expected to be able to deal.
And the men-at-arms are in. The men-at-arms are in, and Nikov only has skirmishers over here. The archer is kind of out of position. It'll meet up with the skirms now. Nikov's trying to snipe down the skirms from Viper, but Viper's skirms actually attack 25% faster.
And that's huge. Definitely huge. It's hard to hit the timing, though. And Nikov is able to wall, to plug the gap on the south side. But there's still a big gap on the left-hand side, but I don't think Viper knows that one. We see another engagement coming in, and both players microing very well, but those man-at-arms, they are not really finding the damage they want here.
Yeah, Nikov's going to have to make some decisions here. As fish are now idle at the north, it's like, do you invest 100 wood per fishing ship to go for the fish traps? And also the villagers are idle up there, Jordan. And the res collected, Viper's catching up.
He is definitely catching up, and having the 25 food per move is definitely helpful. And oh, Nikov found a nice button here.
Yep. He found the market. After we said he's not really the one to use the market 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
Nikov's going to be slapping down the market usage there. However, the skirms have been dealt with at the back. Nikov will get his walls up, and Viper with no more pressure. He's still controlling the middle, though. Needs to have something ready for when these skirms inevitably come through the center. Castle Age on the way for Nikov. Viper can just get there naturally without the market. It's a great eco setup for him, and he can add in these fish now to start grabbing the fish in the south.
I gotta say, I'm completely flabbergasted by Nikov's performance here. He has been playing so well, and I feel like Viper might potentially have problems to face the timing attack.
He needs
from
to lock
Nikov.
it down, and he's going for a tower. So he senses that something's going on. He's got the archers, got the skirmishers. If he thought it was just that group of skirms, I'm not sure he goes for this tower. I think he knows that there's something a little bit fishy going on.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. We will see crossbow play from Nico. He only has 3 archers in the meanwhile. Wow. Do you see on the units? Our faces are there as well, on the left-hand side.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh! Whoa! I spotted that one. How long did it take? Like, how long was it? 10 hours? Okay. Yeah, so the skirms, they are... now, you know, finding a village kill potentially, yeah, he will definitely be able to do so. Nice move by Nikov here for sure. And yeah, we don't see crossbow play, we will see the calf play by Nikov. And I wonder, the fish traps most likely have been planted down already. Yeah, we see that.
They're not the most beautiful fish traps in the world. He needs to get into some Rage Forest games, that's for sure.
Yeah,
he needs some teaching from Viper, but I mean, right now he's in a perfectly good position against Viper. Viper still hasn't caught up in total res collected. We have another Just the Tipper adding some more to the prize pool, tipping his way into that $55,000 range here for NAC4. As Castle Age is now reached from Nikov, Viper has that tower to hide inside of. Castle Age coming in for Viper. One big thing about the Dravidians, they really lack a tech tree. They have basically no stable that they can go for. No bloodlines. They don't have access to Knight. The elephants are underwhelming. The light cav just aren't something you want to go for in this position. Viper's getting some good damage, though, with the crossbows. Soon to be crossbows. But that's basically the unit he's going to go into. He doesn't have an option to really mix it up.
Exactly, and the momentum here on the northern side with those crossbows, that's going to be so vital. He's going to be able to complete that, yes. The knights, they will try to avoid those crossbows to go to the dock, because the fish traps, they die instantly because they don't have any resistance whatsoever. But Nikov doesn't have the +2 armor on his knights, and oh, he doesn't spot them as well.
No, he doesn't see the crossbows.
Oh,
Viper saw the knights,
huge.
but Viper made his way around, and I think if Viper comes in here, you snipe the fish traps. They're more expensive than the fishing ships, and the fishing ships are actually taking up population.
Oh, so now he's reacting. Okay,
if you just want a hit-and-run situation here, I think you go after the fish traps first.
Absolutely. Which
is what Viper is opting to do. 1, 2, 3, and that is...
That's
300.
So
there's one hiding behind.
That's
Crouching Tiger hidden fish trap behind that palisade wall. Viper's gonna miss it, but so will Nikov likely when he goes back there.
you don't expect it. However, the trade for Nikov was not too bad, because he pushes Viper away completely from the middle, and Viper's economy is completely set up for the middle. Look at the food income he has right now, 5. But in the meanwhile, I'm looking at Nikov,
6.
and how is their food income looking like?
And the crossbows are still in. How far along is that Scorpion from Nikov? We don't know. Scorpion won't get the big shots that a Mangonel might, but there's not enough crossbows to really consistently fight that down, as Viper now tries to build a little cave for his monks to hang out in. He can pop them out into the tower and then maybe into the little area there.
God.
Could be a possibility for Viper if he wants to get really cute. He's going to need to do all that he can to secure that middle area. And Nikov knows that he's just working away on that tower. Nikov with such an impressive Castle Age timing. However, like you said, only 4 on food, and he's making knights.
That's the thing. That's the thing. That's going to be very problematic for Nikov. And right now, you know, he's utilizing the market, but look at the market prices. We're at 50 gold already, and that's really, really expensive trades there. And these 4 fishing boats, they're not accomplishing anything. They're not really adding to the overall situation for Nikov. And on the other side, Viper, you know, he's going ham on the fish. A resource collected obviously is still better for Nikov, as he had those fish a little bit longer there. But overall, I feel like we're getting into a position where everything is stabilizing.
Yep.
I like the economy transition a little bit more for the Viper. It feels like he has a little bit more farms, if I'm not mistaken, and he has 16 on food, and that's huge.
Yep, he's going for some more monks. I wonder if those monks are in the center there, potentially. No, there's another monastery somewhere. There's a monastery in the base. Vodka has found it. And Viper goes for that 3rd TC. Now, you can see on the outskirts here, I don't think we've mentioned it, the only gold available that's not immediately in your base are on these 2 hills.
Yep.
And getting a castle on one of these hills is incredible. I know in the game against TaToH that Nikov had on this map, it was a wild hold on the castle from TaToH.
Side, yeah.
He must have sank like 3K stone or something into that thing, and Nikov said in the interview after he went through, even though he lost that game, he did win the next one. He said, I didn't quit because I wanted to kill that goddamn castle. He's like, I stayed in the game for an extra 20 minutes because I wanted to see that castle die.
At one point, it's just frustrating, right? Because you feel like you finally have the power to get that building down, but didn't happen. Anyway, so currently the situation, 2nd wood upgrade coming in for Nikov. Viper has that one already, wheelbarrow in already as well. However, Nikov doesn't have wheelbarrow and horse color. So overall, in the long term, it will be in favor for Viper. So, you know, I favorize his economy right now.
Favorizing. He's favorizing again.
I had to use it.
He's favorizing again. Jordan constantly making up new words for the English language. We appreciate it. We will add them to the dictionary here as Viper now pushes out once again with the crossbows. Nikov finally getting some eco upgrades here. He got the 2nd wood upgrade. He's getting the farm upgrade as well. And he's just trying to hold on now with a Mangonel, a Scorpion, and 7 Knights, investing mostly into his economy. Viper pretty much doing the same thing. Has monks now to back up those crossbows, so Nikov can't really engage against this army.
Yep, this is kind of a situation where both players are not really capable of getting too much done with the army. It is more utilized for the defensive standpoint.
Okay.
Pikemen incoming as well, and as you mentioned earlier, Dave, due to your knowledge, you know that the upgrades for Dravidians in terms of barracks are 50% off or cheaper, so that comes in very handy as well. And I'm super excited for this game because it's the first time we see it, and
it's going
usually it's fast. But this time, it feels like we see a bit of a long game here. And
this is, honestly, Jordan, this is the first time that I've seen someone go for the relics this early. And there's always going to be 2 relics on each side, if I remember correctly, and then a couple in the center area there. I think there's 6 on this map, maybe. But usually players go out for the gold to secure that. They don't feel like the relics is really the most necessary thing in the world. Also, I think there's markets in the corner too. In the very corner of this map, on the left and the right, I believe there are markets. I don't know if they were taken away.
They are.
There are.
I've never seen someone trade with
in
these,
a 1v1. But I mean, usually fight for the gold on the hill, right? If you can't secure that hill, it's so unlikely that you're going to be able to secure an entire trade line.
The thing is, for Dravidians, one of their biggest weaknesses is the fact that they have a little bit of problem against siege play, and that is exactly what Nikov is going for right now. We see in the meanwhile Squires coming in, and the Monk, it is brave.
You got to go around the other side there, Viper, and there we go. He ducks away from the Mangonel shot. Attack round potential here for Nikov. Viper notices it. Nikov gets him anyway. Viper will be able to get away with that monk, and he has converted a knight, so the knight will go into snipe
he
the
gets
Mangonel, and he
one.
has sanctity, so the Mangonel won't kill the monk. He gets another knight. He's going to get 1 Mangonel, I think. He's not going to get this one, though, so that's a great defense there from Nikov.
Absolutely, but getting that conversion on the 2nd knight is such a huge, huge play. And the fact that Viper secured the left-hand side with the castle gives him so much stability in this game as well. So, you know, the longer the game goes, the better it looks like for the Viper right now. But we have to keep in mind, if like I feel like mobility is an important factor on this map, and that's not really where Dravidian shine the most here. We see armor upgrade for the infantry, for the Viper, and handcard incoming for Nikov. Man, he is on point.
Dude, Nikov has made changes in his gameplay the last couple years, and he's only gotten better, right?
Absolutely.
He hasn't left any of the skills that he was unique for behind. He's only added to his skill set over time. So Nikov, very, very impressive here as we see the fish traps from Viper all one tile away from the dock. He's been playing a lot of Black Force, I know, and he's been instilling that knowledge into others as well. Imperial Age on the way from Viper. Nikov clearly wants to get there as well. He needs to use the market to do so. Viper does not, because he's got a bit more of a balanced eco behind this.
Yeah. And the Monk,
nice attack
that
around
one
there,
is
Nikov.
playing with fire. That was a nice dodge here. Not really intended, but okay. We see the imp upgrade coming in for Nikov as well, and we see infantry upgrade.
Dude, Nikov, when we asked him about that game first out, he said he went out to the gold too late.
I don't see him.
He's not going out to the gold.
Don't see
It's like he might be in a very stressful position, but he's been in this position before. You feel like he would have got the timing right. As we see Viper trying to come in here with the pikeman, he's going to get a bunch of conversions on the Knights. Nikov is going to get everything wiped up here, and it's going to be Viper heading across the map. First player to the Imperial Age, and it's even more production buildings coming down from him. He has secured that left gold. He's got vision on the gold to the right with a pikeman over there. Nikov is going to be running out of gold big time here, and we thought he learned his lesson against Doubt to make that timing out to one of those golden hills, but it's just not there.
Yeah, and it's absolutely amazing to see how good that fight was by Viper, right? He engaged so well. Also
condos for Nikov. Arumi Swordsman probably ripped through condos. I haven't seen this matchup, but I would say they just destroy.
Absolutely. Like, there's no chance for the condos at all. And
look how fast they produce, too.
Yeah,
it's like a samurai, dude.
Yeah, it's insane. The only thing missing for both players is kind of the castle on the other side. Mentioned that a couple of times, Dave. But yeah, Viper is even first in securing that area as well. And Nikov, he's kind of in between, right? He also added, or no, he's not added the archer ranges there, but he still has them available there. And Nikov, I don't think he's in the best position right now because he doesn't have map control. He just doesn't have map control.
The timing, I mean, he had a good position with the Knights. He had that full middle. He had opportunities to maybe come out here with a castle or a TC, right? But just now going on to stone, and, well, I guess he was on stone because he's making a castle at the back on the gold. But that's not a good castle because that castle basically signifies the fact that you are going to have to push Viper back here before you can get the gold on the sides.
Yeah.
You know that Viper's going to be busting into your base, and once you see the Arumi Swordsman, you essentially know that the gig is up because the condos aren't going to get any value here.
Absolutely. I mean,
Viper's just going into more Arbalest, I guess.
Yeah.
And they do fine against condos.
Yep. They only have 5 pierce armor, right? So Arbalest deal 5 damage to them. And I mean, the condos, they are super fast, they produce fast, and it feels like Viper hasn't really expected that tech switch, and in low numbers, the condos are going to be overwhelming here, and he has been able to push Viper away from the middle as well. And then all of a sudden, we could potentially see a shift here.
Arumis are coming out, and they do get that splash damage, and they do get that charge attack, but the numbers of condos are pretty impressive here, as Chemistry just now comes in from Viper. He's still trying to push on the right side to the walls from Nikov. Maybe Nikov can buy some time, but this right side is the area Nikov needs to be sending villagers out to get control of that gold, and Viper is controlling it with an army there, and I think he can withstand the early pressure from the Condottiero, and Condottiero really fall off.
Absolutely. He's able to deny the TC, which is a beautiful pickup for Nikov.
He's making trade! Viper has a trade cart! Viper has a trade cart! And Viper is already trading. We can see it says only 6 gold for the time. It says 6 gold.
Where's the market of Viper?
It says 6 gold. He made a... It's a condensed trade route. And we will be back when that trade cart finally pays for itself in about 30 minutes here when Nikov has no wood left on the map.
What is that move?
Great quick wall in there from Nikov to trap in Viper. Or maybe that house was already there, who knows, but he's going to kill that army. Still doesn't have control over on the right side, and Nikov is pushing forward, and maybe Viper getting a little bit too confident. Investing into trade carts, tossing his army away, still doesn't have a castle over on the hill to the right.
This is just a beautiful play by Nikov. There was for a moment 140 population against 140, even though Viper had 150 against 130, so he was able to catch up a little bit. However, it feels like Viper stabilizing. He has gotten the production in which he really needed desperately, and now he's capable of massing the Arbalest.
Selling stone.
Ooh,
he's selling stone. I guess he has access. The stone is only in the center area there, so he has access to all that stone, and that's how he's going to get his gold that he needs for the pushback. For those bombard cannons as he adds in skirms behind. But Viper now with Arbalest tech on the way, and he's getting all his infantry upgrades, and the Arumis are coming in here, and Arumis will do fairly well against the skirmishers, especially once you get the armor upgrades in.
Absolutely. And upon seeing that your opponent has so many Arumis, I think you're kind of forced to add Arbalest yourself, otherwise you're just not going to be able to deal against those. And yeah, the Arbalests are really finding a lot of damage here. I'm really surprised by
that trade card
Nili.
live cam is moving too fast. He doesn't even have Caravan. It should be going slower than that, as we see Viper's trade card just crawling its way towards that market. And oh no, remember Nikov sold all that stone to be able to afford a bomber cannon that dies right away to an Arbalest. He tried selling stone against Stout. The problem with selling stone here is that it makes stone cheaper for Viper to buy, and Viper is going to want to control the other hill eventually with a castle. He's also coming into the middle here with Arbalest. It's a castle from Nikov. Will Viper see this in time?
I think so, yeah. There's so many villagers building that castle, and that, you know, that position is so important for Nikov right now, because that's kind of the only access he has to the extra resources which are on the map. The right-hand side. I think he has no idea whatsoever what is happening on the right-hand side. He could have easily gotten that position there, because there's not really anything defending from the Viper.
And look, Viper's
no
buying
castle.
stone for 132 gold, because Nikov's been selling it, right? So Viper buys the stone, puts the castle on the right side. Now he's got a castle in the center, castle on the left, castle on the right. No access to gold for Nikov, and he's even trading here. Viper with the ball of Arbalest, and Viper is just put himself in a position to win this game. I mean, if it keeps going on like this, unless Nikov does something super drastic, Viper will win. Be it in 20 minutes or an hour, I mean, he's eventually just going to win.
Absolutely. And Viper is fine playing the longer game, right? Because especially with the extra gold income, there's just no way Nikov is going to be able to compete against that. And, you know, the skirms are nice, yes, indeed. However, if they don't have any armor upgrades at all, they just die instantly against those Arbalests, right?
No armor for skirms.
Nothing. And look at the gold income he has right now.
And the bomber cannon's getting awfully ambitious here. He might find a big shot against Viper, but he's got to be careful to conserve that, because he doesn't have any gold. 0 on gold, and Nikov is selling stone yet again. It's going to make it so cheap for Viper to buy it. Viper now streaming in a room, and he's going elite Arumi here.
This time they have upgraded, how is it called, Caravan?
Caravan.
Yeah,
they have Caravan and Caravanserai, the building from the Hindustanis that makes it faster.
What is the building is called Caravanis.
Caravan. Oh, big shots from the bombard cannons.
You didn't answer my question.
I'm not sure. That's why it kind of tailed off at the end. Oh, big shots again. It's only on skirms, but it's the only army that Nikov has, as he goes for more guard towers on the side there to try and protect his eco from the Arumi. Viper cutting off woodlines. Viper can now focus on woodlines even more than gold, because he knows he has the gold locked down.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, you know, Nikov, he is really struggling to find any
wood steel as well
angle at all. Yeah, and that is just crazy. It just ignores the armor on the opponent units, and, you know, that's a beautiful thing to have for sure, as they're just ripping apart everything when they're getting closer to that. And look at that selling. Look at the food prices as well. Like, Viper is able to mass so much gold as well, and keep in mind, he has 5 relics, while his opponent, who's starving for gold, doesn't have any.
And Nikov is in a desperation mode again on this map where he's trying to push down a castle. Could it be a repeat of him first out, where he's desperately trying to just get rid of this castle? It seems like Viper should be in a position here as Nikov fails to snipe the bomber cannons to defend here. 2 bomber cannons coming out. Viper looking for the snipes. He's advancing with the Arbalest. This could be the last moments of this series. Arumi will shred these skirmishers here, Jordan. If they get in close, they have the splash damage. Bye-bye skirm spaghetti there as all of them go down, and the Arbalest will be able to snipe down the bombard cannons. Viper also with some great bomber cannon micro of his own. He's controlling everything. Looks like he's bomber canning or trebbing, sorry, the castle in the center. Oh boy.
Crazy. But you know what is the difference between this game and the game between TaToH and Nikov?
Well, Nikov, I don't know. What's the difference?
He managed to kill the castle.
He managed to kill the castle at the end of the day, and that's why he tapped out there. Vodka, before we get out of the game, can you let us know what the trade revenue, I'm sure everyone wants to know, did the trade cart pay for itself? As we have the trade cam going on again.
69! Really?
69!
It couldn't have been a crazier number right now. What?
No way! That
69.
just happened.
69. That's something we have to ask Viper in the interview. Have you planned it out like that in order to finish the trade with 69?
This is the most scripted stat I've ever seen.
What are the odds?
That it's so astronomically unlikely.
But how is it possible? The trade route is 7.
It's 6.
No, it's 7. Like 69 is... like with 7 it doesn't work.
But it could be, it works in fractions as well.
Is it 6?
With trade, we'd have to get, we need someone call NASA.
NASA is needed, guys.
Would someone get NASA?
In my head, it doesn't work. Like
there are no, but
fractions.
it works in fractions.
But you know, we have to ask him. I guess he knows.
Well, Viper, amazing victory once again against Nikov. Viper, of course, is sitting on the couch waiting for his fantastic interview with none other than one of his best friends, Jordan.
I have to do it myself?
I think it would be appropriate. Oh. I think you're by far the most qualified here, Jordan. It was a pleasure casting with you as always, though. Thank you, chat. Thank you for the donations throughout that series. Our prize pool is up above 55,000. We accomplished our feat. And keep tuning in for the next set. It's going to be Hera against Liereyy. It's going to be even more, hopefully more hype than this. And we will move on over to Jordan and to Viper for our winner's interview. Jordan, make sure the mic is on. Make sure you have a mic. Are you sitting on it? Oh, we have the mics coming right now. Okay, make sure they're on, guys, and take it away.
Mic check.
Viper.
Jordan.
You know, I'm not surprised because that's what I predicted. You know, you winning.
Sure.
Sure. How do you feel? Like, first day was a little bit rough for you. Second day, yeah. Third day, a bit better. And how do you feel?
I really enjoyed second day, but yeah, we're on the third day right now, so we'll focus on that. Even though second day was amazing.
I think focusing on today is makes me.
Okay, sure. No, I feel good. I feel like I'm on an upwards trajectory. That's how it's pronounced. So
yeah,
I'm feeling good.
Not
oh,
too
you're
hard.
fancy with the green screen.
Yeah, not too
Wearing
hard.
a green T-shirt to a green screen area is. Oh.
The thing is, you know, I want to challenge production. Right. So I even when I was at home, I was like, when I was packing luggage, I have to get a green shirt. Okay. So
sure.
Yeah, Viper first game enclosed. We talked about it. Gujaras, you know, is a civ which struggles a little bit against Ad6. You had Ad6. How did you feel when you saw Gujaras there?
I felt good because I knew that Aztecs would be a good civ. How am I supposed to answer that question?
I'm so bad.
How did I feel when I saw Gujaras?
Okay.
I was expecting it and I felt good because that's why I wanted to play Aztecs.
Did you know exactly from the beginning how you want to play the game?
Yes. I wanted to go low investment feudal age to get fast castle to get a fast castle age, and then just spam eagles, because I think Gujara really struggle dealing with eagles, and I mean it showed in the game as well.
Absolutely. Also, Nikov has done a good job here, trying to keep attention, but it was just too much there for him at that point. And yeah, when you saw all the raids, okay, we're a bit too slow here. What did you feel about game 2? Like, he has done such a good job here with the Faris.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite a walk in the park when I played it yesterday, but today was pretty tough.
Can we skip game 2?
It was, I mean, it was the same civ matchup.
Yeah.
Nikov did an amazing job. I messed up my build a little bit, so I went up one population too late.
Yeah.
Not sure how much of an impact that had, but Nikov, the way he used his fires was really good, and he invested a lot on water compared to what I expected. So I was expecting to get control of the water easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was super tough, and I think he may have overboomed a little bit. He could have probably gone Imperial a bit faster, and then it would have been way harder for me. But those longbows are just amazing on water.
Insane. What do you think was the most crucial play for you to finally really win the game?
Probably just adding cannon galleons. Maybe I should have added them a little bit earlier instead of going for the Treb war, because I know he has bomber cannons.
Yeah.
So probably get cannon galleons and just play it from there.
How much do you think the raids which you have gone for at the end have played into the victory as well?
I think a lot. Obviously, suddenly a lot of his economy is idle. We're fighting on the middle at the same time. And he's losing probably a lot of vills as well. I see he's down to 100 vills there. So the wood income is suffering for sure. And I mean, actually, he has plenty of resources to make ships. But obviously, long term, that's going to be. I mean, I have a few resources as well, it seems like.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Game 3, Burgundians. Is that something you expected on Arabia?
Not expected, but I mean, Burgundians can always work if you can make the game into an arena game, which is what he was able to do.
Yep.
And I felt I was a bit indecisive. I wasn't sure if I should invest heavily in Castle Age, because I felt like I don't want him to come forward on me with big Castle Age play. So I probably invested a little bit too much into Castle Age myself. But either way, I think it's a really tough matchup anyway in Imperial Age, possibly, especially because he always has the button in the end if he wants to.
For sure. And for me personally, that was the best game Nikov has played so far. It was so clean. And now game 4. It was your home map. We have not seen this map being played out so far in the main stage. What was your thought when you saw him playing the way he did? Did you feel like he would, charge in the middle, or would he play like that? Was that your expectation?
After he went Italians, I was sure he would play like somewhat like he did. I was expecting him to go Japanese there, so it was a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
But I think he defended very well. He secured his lake as well. It was a very tricky game to know exactly what to make and how to approach it. Those knights caught me a bit off guard in the middle at one point. I thought he was going to chase my crossbows, but I guess I traded a couple of vills in the middle position then for his fish traps.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was still a very tricky game. I was never really sure how my economy was compared to his throughout the whole game.
Yeah, you both of you were kind of equal. And Viper, can you tell us, walk us through the logic behind the trade card?
I needed a market. I had vills there, they were idles. I was like, I'm just going to drop a market there, and once it was up and I used it, I was like, yeah, let's make a trade card. I mean, there's a market there, we can trade. And I mean, it paid for itself, right? I heard it got a pretty nice number in the end.
Do you know which number it got at the end?
69.
You know, I was telling Dave, Viper is in love with the 69 number. Do you think? Do you think? Sorry, guys. Too much laughter here. Keep it going. 69. Was that planned out from the start?
Yeah, of course. That's the magic number, especially if you reach that with your trade count. Then of course, you know that you're in a firm control of the game. It can't really be reversed from there. So.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I mean, Viper, I feel like you today played extremely well. So congrats for that. And
thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for taking your time for the interview.
Thanks for interviewing. You realize, by the way, you hold your microphone, you turn to talk to me. The microphone is there.
I'm always open for improvements. Thank you, Viper.
I'm just helping you improve it.
Okay, guys, that was it from the couch, and we will jump over to our lovely casters for the next set.